Yaakov here. Yahadim, Yahshua, Yisrael. Bear with us. We're having some technical difficulties. Welcome to the house of Yahshua.
Praise Yahshua.
Praise Yahshua. This is the day of Yahshua. This is the house of the living Father, Yahshua. He and Yahweh are one. They are one. The Father has built a house for His Son. They work together in unity, and this is that house and family that the Creator has built for His Son, Yahshua. He is now the Father in all the earth. That's the pattern. We're going to be moving forward now here. I am the Micaiah, as I said in the book of Revelations, that goes on the hill El, the house of Yahweh, hill El, here in Clyde, Texas, 79510, according to the prophecies, that they thought to throw out, drive away. I did not leave away from them, and the one true seed is still there on the hill. They will be coming out with Yahshua. But as I was bringing forward Yahshua, they thought to throw their servant and brother out. We have them, and we're not against any. We're only against sin and iniquity. Yahshua will have none. He'll have no contenders. He'll have no rivals in His kingdom. The kingdom belongs to Yahshua, the kingdom of heaven, and all that's in heaven and earth that the fingers and the hands of the Creator have created and framed belong to Yahshua. We're going to get going here. We fulfilled the prophecies last week. If you tune in on YouTube there, the house of Yahshua, Yahshua being all caps, or Micaiah, M-I-C-H-Y-A-H Hawkins on Facebook, you'll see we played the song of the Lamb last week. And we'll go a little bit more into that here in a second. This week we played the song of Moshe. This family and house fulfills all the prophecies. We look to fulfill all prophecies. And these things are written in Revelation. Pastor Yisrael Hawkins, the seventh Malik, told us to learn that song of Moshe, and there it is. I'm going to have Yadin light the menorah. Will you do the honors, Yadin? Praise Yahshua. Praise Yahshua. I'll place some incense on the fire, coal of fire here, and we will reverence and honor Yahshua for our opening prayer. Again, I'm Micaiah Yaakov, the Micaiah of Revelation 12, representing the family of the house of Micaiah. This is the house of Micaiah here. We're about 3/4 of a mile to the east. This is the east sheep gate of the hill. And all the final prophecies here at this end, as we're at the end of the first 3.5 years prophesied, are all being fulfilled by the family of Yahshua here. That's 2 Kepha 16:18 for your notes. This is the family that Yahshua is used building His house. We are builders of the house of Yahshua, the house of Yahweh. They are one. Yahshua dwells in us. We are His house, and He is the embodiment of the Creator, made manifest in man, the fulfillment of Genesis 1:26. Yahweh, will you open us up in reverence to Yahshua?
Father Yahweh, we come before you and Yahshua, Father Yahshua, we come before you and asking that you'll help us with your understanding and wisdom and understanding to bring forward what the speakers on the hill, Beth Arwen, the House of the Wicked, were saying, and in order so that the sheep up there that are yours, they can understand how that the wicked are still portraying, pretending to be sheep. And we thank you, Father Yahshua, and if you be with us and all this, and we remember that the only pattern that is correct is you, Father Yahshua, and any other pattern that the wicked on the hill are doing is incorrect, and your pattern is the only pattern, and those that you've left, you and Pastor have left, your servant Micaiah, and those that are in your family, that those are the ones that the others they need to listen to and to get your instruction from Yahshua and your servant Micaiah down here. And we ask that you help us in all these things with our thinking and what to say and what to say. It's in your name, Yahshua, we ask all these things, even though we are nothing and you are everything, Yahshua. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, Yahshua.
Honor to you, Yahshua. Hosanna to your name.
Hosanna to King Yahshua. Praise Yahshua. Hallelujah, Yahshua. Hosanna to King Yahshua. We've got a great Sabbath service lined up, YAHSHUA-Sabbath service for you. And we're rejoicing. We have the song of Moshe going there. I hope you heard Yadin's prayer there. And he was glorifying Yahshua and stating that Yahshua is the only pattern. And we're going to get into more into that. So let's get started. Now we are in unity here. You had, Zechariah spoke of 2 olive trees, one on the right side and one on the left that were pouring in the golden oil. And so we're going to cut that song of Moshe off. But that prophecy is fulfilled, and it's going to be fulfilled here when others come for the real Passover that are soon to be here. They've contacted us. They are soon to be here. That is scheduled for 5:13 in the evening. And we will be having that Passover meal here, honoring the Creator, honoring Yahshua. They are one. Giving thanks to them for all things, for the plan and this pattern that they have shown to us all. I am a baptized member of the house of Yahweh Yahshua. I came here in 2007 and sat at the feet of Yisrael Abel Hawkins. And before Pastor went to sleep with our forefathers, the prophets and the apostles, he told me that he had led me to Yahshua. And Yahshua revealed himself to me. Then on Tabernacles, the last great day, 2021, Pastor said that I left you Micaiah. Pastor went to sleep, and Yahshua said, the Father Yahweh, looking me in the eye, Yahshua did, and said, Yahweh told me to send you to them, Micaiah. So basically, we're coming to you. This is the marriage supper of the Lamb teachings. This is what you have to partake of. The flesh is useless, and no one, not even Yahshua, can maintain flesh. If a man reject the law and the prophecies and the one sent, he can say he's accepting the one sent, and he can say that's Yisrael. But if he does not obey Yisrael, I left you Micaiah. So either Yisrael was senile, and I would like for all the wicked priests of Baal on the hill El, the house of Yahweh, hill El, right on the hill over here in Clyde, they're about 3/4 mile down to the west on the hill, that are a mixture tree, Matithia 22:10, side note G4, in the last days, Yahshua our King, of which Pastor said is come. I would like them to look in the body and say, Pastor lied about certain things that was senile and didn't understand when he said, I left you Micaiah. Okay? They are rebellious, they are stiff-necked, they are disobedient, and they are equal to the sons or the ones that Samuel, being the authority in that day, was constantly contending with, that were always in contention with Yahshua's authority, Samuel. Okay? If you remember today, even out of the mouths of the priest of Baal on the hill, they are the last of the Levitical priesthood. They can laugh, they can twist and twist and twist as they do every week, every night, every day, every moment. We see and know they are listening and watching this. They are being used by Hillel to try to counter Yahshua's glorification. And Yahshua said only those that glorify him will be glorified. And all Sabbath service long, no glorification or magnification of Yahshua on this 4/26/2025 Sabbath day from Yahweh Hillel Hill service. None. We here set before you life, Yahshua. The song of Moshe pointed to Yahshua, and everything we're doing here brings forward King Yahshua. He is come. I am in complete unity with the seventh Malach, Yisrael HaKohan, who said, Yahshua is here, brethren. He's here. Receive him into your heart and mind. He's no taller than I am, and he calls me on the telephone. Yahshua is a man. Yes, he's a man who's been walking the earth for over 2,000 years. Yes, even walking into other dimensions and in other planets and in other territories throughout creation. He's trying to allow us to be given these things. But we see that all those men on the hill only want a pat on the back from each other and to glorify themselves. None have called Yeshua forward. To say Yeshua is here, KS, Shimmy Shuffle, does not mean that he is Gaspy Casper the ghost, Pastor said. He's not Casper. Okay? These are simple teachings. Who would say that the kindness from the house of Yahshua is anger and bitterness? We mean no ill intent. We ain't going to call nobody. We're not going to bring no. You're doing it to yourself. I'm going to say it one more time, and then I'm going to turn it over to the teacher. Yahshua is on that hill. He is a man. You've walked over to him, you've touched him, and you've talked to him, and you, Shimmy Shuffle, ignore him in blasphemy. Shimmy Shuffle is a sawed-off coward, and he rejects the king. And in doing so, he blatantly rebels against him, blatantly blasphemous in your faces, against Yisro, who said, in whom Yahshua looked me in the face, the same man that called Pastor on the phone and said, I was told by the creator of all creation to send you, Micaiah. So know this, KM and KS. I am your head. The tail has now, in the fulfilling of the life-giving scriptures, the creator prophesied, and he cannot lie, and become your head, KM and KS. And unless you can pass that humility test, you ain't going to step foot into you're not going on in the kingdom. You're not. Now again, as a disclaimer and a disclosure to you all we do at the house of Yahshua is just simply break down the sure and true prophecies. You want to know what the prophecy is fulfilled? It's fulfilled in your hearing. I was the tail. And the irony of it is I still consider myself less than you, KM and KS. I'm your servant. And then the greatest act of servitude that Pastor said was teaching, I'm trying to save your life, KM and KS. Yet, I am become your head. The tail shall become the head.
He is the head.
Yahshua is the head, and he sent me as one of his heads to you all. He is the capital the capital H, capital E, capital A, capital D, but he has other heads he's going to be sending out. Okay? So, those simple basics, having to go back to basics, and ain't talking about some he-goat going with his gold and silver and buying a bunch of tents and going and pitching a campfire with a bunch of boys like a queer. That's not what going back to basics is. No. We're having to go back to some basics in the teachings of what it would be at the very last. And if this is the end, in the very last 3.5 years, okay, and it is, then where were all these prophecies to come from if they haven't come out of the house of Yahshua here? Where? When? They'll say the word prophecy. They'll say Revelation 10:7 and talk about secret. But they won't go to 1 Corinthians 15 and verse 51. Behold, I'll tell you a great secret. Some here, all here, gathered here in sincere unity to bring forward Yahshua, are going to be changed in the twinkling of an eye. Wow, that was my co-op number 2779, coming from Strong's Hebrew 2778. In one of the meanings of that 2778, that was my last co-op before they thought to drive out and cast away their brother, as they did others who knew who they really were internally before me, who will be gathered back together. Yeshua just simply revealed himself to everyone and said, hey, hold on tight. It might be a year or 2 or 3, but guess what? Y'all are the ones that are going to inherit the kingdom. They can sit up there and do all they want, all that's in the eye with the Buffalo, the Yahweh Martin. Look, I can go to the general store. I can have a fake Sabbath day and a fake feast. You cannot. We're going to get more into the Sabbath because Pastor spoke on, and I don't want to jump the gun here, but some things that Yeshua placed in my mind to open up with. And we are just bringing forth the law and the prophets here in Yahshua Messiah. That is our goal, is to bring forth King Yahshua, our first and foremost goal. That will be the forefront of everyone's mind going throughout eternity. From all the eras is to always be bringing forth Yeshua to others as they encounter them and witness and testify according to the law and the scriptures, what's written. Okay? And if they are not bringing forward Yeshua, Isaiah 34:16 is what that means. He is the law and the prophet made manifest. Those things being said, I want to exhort you all to take the Sabbath service at the house of Yahweh. Now that's the house of Yahweh because I call it house of Yahweh just for an explanation, Hillel. Because a man's wife or a male's wife, woman, queen, is in his house. And the scripture says she walks up and down. Where are the stones of living fire up here? Where are the zealous stones up here? Well, you are. But there's always a counterfeit. What are you zealous for? If you're zealous to disobey and to ignore the fact that Israel said, I left you Micaiah, and that Yeshua is the man just sitting up there judging, you're just a hypocrite. Just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. But for your sakes, we will go a little bit into dissecting some of their stupid words. All the women that contacted us on the conference call laughing, saying that, man, they put the stupidest people to the lectern right after it was said here by the men who were sitting here. Because it's easy for them to deceive if they just put the dumbest ones of the scriptural retards up there to speak. So, the prophetic retards. So, but those things being said, there in Matthew 22:10, side note G4, the King of all kings, Yeshua said in the last days that the house of Yahweh will be a mixture. And that's exactly what's going on. Many are called, but only few will be chosen from that hill. Okay? So, and they will be coming out. Isaiah spoke that. Pastor said it today, and we'll go over that more as well. Revelations 18 says the voice of the bride, they will come out. The bride goes out to meet the bridegroom. And that is in several other places, a lot of other places throughout the life-giving scriptures. These are the sure and true prophecies. This is the plan that was from the beginning. It is and always shall be. And there is no other plan. Okay? Welcome to the house of Yahshua, the house of Micaiah Eternal, the Lamb's bride. Again, Revelation 12, the house of Micaiah Eternal. And we will overcome them with the testimonies of Yahshua. These things being said, let's do that overcoming now in your hearing with the fulfillment of the prophecies. And that is what we all came here for. We are a house of prophecy, prophets, and those who prophesy in the name of Yahweh. And that name is Yahshua Messiah. Those things being said, I'm going to turn it over to the teacher now. It is my great honor and privilege to turn it over to the priest after the order of Melchizedek, Yahadin, Yahshua, Yisrael. Yahadin.
Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. First, before I get into things, the greatest teacher, as always, is our King, Yahshua. Mm-hmm. He is the greatest teacher. And in saying that, down here under Yahshua's servant Micaiah, that's what this house down here, the family here does, is bring Yahshua forward. Once again, we're going to go over the comments of the speakers that spoke, and basically, since they didn't really bring any prophecy forward, we're just
play this side by side. Pause it, start it, play it side by side with the Hill service. The House of Yahweh Hillel 4:26-25 service to you all. This is Yahshua's service to you all, that you might get the underlying frequency and intent of what's occurring. Go ahead.
And so basically they were commenting and weren't bringing forward prophecy. So I'm just going to comment back against these things to keep it simple. But basically, I'm going to start out by a comment here. Let the dead bury the dead. And those on the hill, the speakers, the lineup, we have to remember, always consider who sent the lineup forward. And we had the gloating Führer, the German Jesuit Führer over there gloating, perceiving in his frequency that because he was once again trying to entangle this continued back and forth Hillel, back and forth. They say things and we say things down here. But remember,
this debate, endless debate, Yadin calls it. They want to, what is it? Go ahead.
Well, just getting to it, like Micaiah said, an endless debate. But it's not really a debate, whereas the truth is they are spiritually dead. And so let them bury themselves. Micaiah already just got through saying they're bringing it on themselves. They're burying themselves in what they're doing in their attempts to bring themselves forward as kings in your mindset. They're trying to project the mindset with this smooth suppleness of the beast and the wolves in the sheep's clothing. And then we had Shimei. He's nothing more than a little coyote that's trying to even be one of the wolves over there, the more wicked priest, and even though he is wicked also. And
the heathen wolves written in the book of Jephaniah.
Right. And so we had remember the one who sent them out there, that was the 666, son of perdition. He authorizes their lineup, and with his dad, the red dragon, and then we have the he-goat hiding in the background again, once again, being silent, but they're all orchestrating the circus lineup that they have. And obviously the speakers don't know prophecy, because all they were doing was taking...
They had Conundrum, the leopard, doing all the introductions today.
All they had was bringing some speakers out and stealing the information that Micaiah, Yahshua's servant, has brought forward to you on the sea of glass, and twisting it around and making it trying to make themselves appear as light, as righteousness, when it is they who are in darkness, the dead. And they hope that they continue to have you all staying up there with them and to be part of their sacrifice and being part of the dead. And our King Yahshua wants mercy for you and is leaving a way open for those that do repent. You don't get the seal unless the mark, unless you do repent.
And depart from the iniquitous.
Depart from the iniquitous.
6 Timothy 2:19. You can't depart from iniquity unless you depart from the iniquitous.
And remember the pattern.
They're performing acts of iniquity.
Correct. And remember the righteous pattern is our King Yahshua. And Yahshua has already set his guidelines that the feasts have to be according to the correct count in the moon. They've thrown out a 13th moon. Remember, even the pastor said over and over again, the mark is the Sabbath, this feast days. Those are the shadow protection of Yahshua. They don't even have a mark any longer. Their authority is been taken away from them.
The last service I would bring, Yadim, would be something pastor teaching about the Sabbath, because you can't think yourself able to throw out one of Yeshua's choices and keep a Sabbath properly, can you?
You can't.
You don't. You have the mark of the beastly system. That's what they do. It's called shopping cart Christianity. We don't want this preacher. We'll either get rid of him and team up and get rid of that Christian preacher and go get another teacher or go to another Cersei. And that's simply all they do up there. That's all they do. If they don't like it, they all form a democratic vote, and they work to get rid of that man. They take a survey, an inquisition, an inquiry, run around finding out details, and they work to get rid of that person. It's just that simple. It's Christianity. Go ahead.
They continue to bring forward their Christianity, the Catholic mindset that they can make up anything, get rid of anything, and it's okay because no one up there is saying anything.
Or will.
Or they're not trying to bring, once again, our King
not showing a positive character trait of courage in any way.
Shimmy mentioned Yahshua's name, but none of them want Yahshua to be brought forward. And the only place that can bring Yahshua forward right now is down here, because if they brought Yahshua forward, that would just be exposing them, because all the prophets stand with Yahshua and are exposing them in this time period. That even Hosea has already instructed us. We've learned that the hill is called Beth Arwen. It's the house of the wicked. There's two houses right now: the house of the wicked on the hill up there, and the wicked priests. Two works, and there's a work down here with Yahshua's servant Micaiah, and Micaiah is Yahshua's servant and slave, bringing forward all the aspects of character forward for the benefit of Yahshua's sheep, so that they can understand what to do. And they know now that we've been instructing and teaching them that the place where they're at, the priests there no longer have authority. So we continue to let you understand that you can choose Yahshua and come off that hill and come down here.
These are the prophecies, the sure and true, irrefutable, undeniable Revelations chapter 12 prophecies. This is the plan and the prophecies taught by Malachim, the Yilaya, as it is in the side note there in Revelation 12, the footnotes and side notes. The plan and the message, the two olive trees, one on the left side and one on the right side and one on the left, who were pouring this oil back in to everyone that Yeshua's resurrected over the past 2,000 years. Now remember, if he had not went through a transfiguration and resurrected Lazarus, how much more after being transfigured and being resurrected and going through 2,000 years with the Creator, how many more has he resurrected? How many on the hill? And how many in this area are just Malachim ministering to me? And everyone else who's going to be taking part is taking part in Yeshua's joyous messaging kingdom. Because as surely as the Almighty Creator lives, not one black hat, lest they come subject themselves to those here in humility, will ever go on. Period. That's the mercy of Yahshua. All authority in heaven and earth is his. Go ahead.
And remember the reasoning coming from the wicked leadership, having these speakers go out, is because they're trying to project.
Now that first speaker, boy, is just deceived or not unaware. He's unaware of really who these men are. He's naive of it. They're offering their children who are naive as an offering to make spiritual warfare at the lectern, so that they themselves don't. But they offer them up because that fire of revelation, we can say to all this, but that judgment and sentencing begins with the house of Yahweh, and that Revelation 18 fire reserved for a city is speaking of the city of Israel on the hill. No matter how long it takes, no matter what you say or do or think about me or do to me, it is going to occur. It is written, and it shall come to pass. That Revelation 18 fire is reserved for the hill and those who do not escape with the deliverer, YAHSHUA. Go ahead.
And remember the reason the wicked...
Command. It is there. Not Gassy, Casper. Go ahead.
Remember the reason that the wicked leadership, the 666 son of perdition, and has the speakers that he had scheduled is because they still want you to think that they can just come out and just say a few smooth words and pretend righteousness.
Gentle voice. And I prepared this sermon for a couple months. Now, KM, the first black hat, nobody retains anything. The women, even, what did he even say? The babbling. They used the word babbling, the women did. Can't even understand. None of it makes any sense. It's only an effort when they could be bringing YAHSHUA to the nations using all the gold and silver and tithes and offerings and income and resources to glorify YAHSHUA. They're simply making war like they're in the right and we're in the wrong here.
And the reasoning that I was...
How would you ever have YAHSHUA as your immediate family member if he's not a man? Is it the same Christian mentality that he's some 20-foot tall? What were you hoping to see when you perceived and finally realized YAHSHUA's been here the whole time? What did those on the road to Mathia there in Luke 24 see when he was resurrected? What did they hope to see? When YAHSHUA was transfigured in the Garden of Gethsemane, before they nailed him to the stake, the house of Yahweh, who tried to stone him, it is written right here in your life-giving book, the house of Yahweh tried to stone him. You want to talk about patterns today? Did he look any different when he left? Could they tell he had been transfigured? It was going on internally. You're begotten by a message. And if you're allowing the wrong message to creep in like those tares leading you on the hill did, you're not going to receive that twinkling of an eye change, because that 2778, my co-op number, 2779, going to 2778, it also means reproaches there. And boy, I'm not a stranger to reproaches. I'll share that with Abba Israel. Going to 2778 means a season. And if you look up that word season, it means a twinkling of an eye. Wow, so all those who are part of the house of Micaiah Eternal, this family that brings forth you, are going to be changed in a twinkling of an eye. Will you be able to tell it, or anyone else? I would say the immediate family members will know I've received a change, or anyone who's joined themselves to bring forward Yeshua will know it. Will the wicked black hats know it? No. Could you be standing next to them with a different personification and the wicked black hats not know it? Yes. Could you be in China visiting a dignitary sent by YAHSHUA and they not recognize this particular face? Yes. And only the immediate family of the 144,000 frequency of YAHSHUA's choosing, all authority being given of his choosing alone, the man. Just that is there. You got it right. You just don't believe it. Or he doesn't want to admit it to you all to accept it and recognize it. The Yeshua is there, only for a split second longer. Remember, his coming here, he's already come. First, Yochanan 5:20, he's been here for 2,000 years. His coming back to this house he built, his coming back to here is according to Psalms 19, 1 through 6, the Omer count. Okay? The real Omer count. Here, the real Omer count. Again, if YAHSHUA says it with all authority and haven't ever been given to him, it don't matter what some sawed-off dude with a black piece of cloth on his head says. It don't. How difficult are the teachings I'm bringing forward, Yadin?
Right, the count of the Omer, the Tekufa season. Remember, the Tekufa season is the feast circuit that comes from YAHSHUA. Not the wicked priests on the hill that don't have any authority any longer. So you're not keeping a Tekufa circuit.
That's how they fall back and stumble. Go ahead.
You're not keeping a Tekufa circuit unless you keep the count of the Omer down here where you're in the correct moon to keep it. Okay?
You can't do it without the overseer.
I'm making it as very simple.
And what is Israel seeing? Do the dead see anything? Have you resurrected? Have they resurrected Israel yet or not? Have the beast men, the beastly bastard bear who said he was going to do it, did he do it? Did he keep his word? When a prophet says he's going to do something and he don't do it, don't that mean he's false? So if Israel's not been resurrected by those wicked men, and he never will be by them, ever, they'll never resurrect a beetle, then how is he seeing anything, Dean? An overseer sees and watches and discerns and leads and guides and teaches. Yahshua draws all men unto Yahshua, Messiah. Go ahead.
And Yahshua always brings forward.
You got people that had a dead overseer worshiping the dead. Everything they do is God worshiping Christianity.
Yahshua always brings through his servant Micaiah
your
prophecy.
Head, Shimmy. Your head, KM.
He always brings forward prophecy, written prophecy,
Simple.
and to prove what is being said.
My job is easy. It's light. My burden is easy.
And the proof in the prophecy concerning the Kufa in Psalm 19, if you want to go to that again, verse 4, their witness goes out through all the earth in their story, A, to the end of the world, in the footnote there, B, where the end of the world is, and that is the count of the Omer.
And it's the end of the world as you know it. Your world is going to come crashing down with that Revelation 18 burning of this area. They wanted to kill all the people of Yahshua and the one true seed and the true plan. They want to destroy everyone out there. And those men on the hill that are in touch with those outside geopolitical sources, they want everyone destroyed. And when she's done, even with the ones who've done her bidding, they will meet their end. Now, we're just simply going to be changed here. But know this, Pastor said it. It's a world without end. Hold that thought right there. Hold real tight. It's a world without end. Now, the world as we know it is going to change. But if it were not, if it's a world without end, what need of a new heaven and a new earth would there be? What need? So there's not a need for a new heaven. We're going to renew the earth, and it's going to be a new Jerusalem, a new heaven, a new house of Yahweh, the house of Yahweh, Yahshua. They are one. He does not live in houses made of brick and stone, rather in the hearts and mind. He indwells. When Pastor said I and we and us, he was only speaking, and he knew it, to a tiny group that he was looking at. That's why he cried all the time. Within a very few feeble remnant that ain't out there abroad. They've not been baptized. They're not the remnant. The remnant are those who entered into a contractual baptismal covenant. Go ahead.
And we saw in verse 4, it says, their witness, and as you read the word in them, he has set up a house for light, and we see that on the footnote there. That's the brilliant house, it's the family, the house of Yahshua, not the hill Beth Arwen there. So when you hear all these smooth speakers, and they try to twist like they're
Yahshua said that to his disciples, they were the light. If he is the light of the path, and they are the light of the world, Yahshua speaking to his disciples. Disciple of Israel must first and foremost be a disciple of Yahshua. Every word uttered by Israel came from Yahshua Messiah. Go ahead.
And then verse 6, his going forth is from the end of the heavens, and his feast circuit to Kufa, to their end.
Went forth from the house of Yahweh. How many times again did it come? You'd have to teach us what the word heaven meant.
And the deed, it says their ends. That's the count of the Omer, where it ends. And no one is hidden from his wrath. That's Yahshua's wrath.
Judgment.
Just because they have these
we'll
speakers.
Speak about the judgment today.
Just because they have these speakers that come forward and say some righteous sayings.
That they can see, we can see they're listening to this. But they don't want y'all listening to it.
They are just taking...
Because they can't teach righteousness. It's not in them to do it. It's not. When you take one little tiny bit of leavening and false teaching, and you say, Pastor didn't say he left Micaiah. From that moment on, From that moment on, when they determined in their mind that's not what Pastor said, and we all know it is, the leavening grew within them, and now there's no such thing. It is the craziest joke ever told if you think you kept an unleavened bread, Passover unleavened bread on that hill. It means no more pride, total humility to accept. Man, Pastor chose little old nobody hillbilly from Tennessee, Micaiah. Yahweh and Yeshua sent Micaiah because they want to talk about the 1 cent while they reject the 1 cent. Micaiah. Go ahead.
Remember now, they're German Jesuit Führer there. Part of this thing, he gets his thrill when he knows that he's sending speakers that they've already told him what they're going to be talking about, and they bring forward the things that they've stolen, ideas and things that Yahshua's servant Micaiah has brought forward in the prophecy. And they try to make themselves look righteous when they really don't have any understanding about the change or any of these topics they use and so forth. They're just latching on. It's like they know they're sinking. And so they're latching on to
their hosts, their PAs, their fellow priests. All they want is a pat on the back. When behind the veil, over in the other dimension, on the sieve glass of our forefathers have been resurrected, they're all going, oh my word, they're all fighting and squabbling over some PA position or some hope to get a black kippah, and all these wonderful, marvelous things that aren't to even be compared to the superficial things on that hill are being offered to them, and they're all fighting the Yeshua's slave and servant Micaiah and his family to make war instead of bringing forward Yeshua so we can all together receive these things that are just beyond the veil. That those men on the hill, those wicked Levitical priests, the end of it,
the bottom line is
they'll be dissolved by that Revelation 18 fire coming, that Maui burning. Go ahead.
The bottom line is they're latching on to the things that Yahshua's servant Micaiah said and all, because they have nothing else to grasp. They don't understand
they don't have
what the word
change
means or anything. They're not keeping the Omer count right. They're not under the shadow of protection any longer. They've lost their authority.
God. What a great sermon you brought.
And by latching on to twisting the things that Micaiah says,
they're finished.
They know they don't have anything else.
Done.
They cannot show prophecy because they'd have to bring Yeshua forward in the prophecy.
Because all prophecy points to Yahshua.
And when you don't keep a feast or a Sabbath,
some to me, some to Israel, some to y'all, to them especially, the prophecies point to the wicked.
Do you know if you're not in the appointed place here keeping the Sabbath, you're not keeping it for Yahshua? I'm trying
Even my first name given to me by one of those Leviticus that Yeshua had given to me was Malchiah, appointed.
The pastor taught you all you have to be in the correct place, observing
the Malchiah feast of my feast are the appointed feasts, says Yahweh.
And Micaiah has been brought forward to you today, the righteous pattern. That pattern has to go forward with Yahshua, and Micaiah is bringing that pattern out to you. If you're not keeping the Sabbath where you're supposed to keep it, you're not keeping that's sin. You heard on the pastor speaking on the tape today, and well, we'll go into that later on.
We're going to go into some of these notes, but
all right, we're going to get to some of the notes here.
Please.
All right, so we're going to the first speaker,
the young boy, or the KM.
Well, he had mentioned the first speaker had mentioned the count of the Omer, but you can't count the Omer.
You know what Omer count we're in?
Unless you're down here.
What day of the Omer is it, Yadin?
Today is the
zero. We're not in an Omer count.
We're not.
Go ahead.
When you keep a fake Omer count, you're not keeping it for Yahshua.
You can't throw out a 13th moon in 2024 and think in your brain you can't have wicked men with black hats.
There is
take a calendar off the wall and throw it in the trash can and come to you and tell you because they saw some green ears they threw out a moon.
So you don't have.
We're going to cite on the second day of the week in the evening. We're going to cite the first moon, Yahweh. We've cited the green ears. The green ears must be ripe. They must be bursting open. That's another one. Study it out. See, you're perishing. You're dead, and you're sleeping and slumbering, and they're dead and they're perishing because of the lack of the knowledge that I've only received from Yeshua in the visitation. I'm just a messenger. I feel myself less educated in the law and the prophets than those leading you. But here's the deal. 100% trust in Yahshua, a man who you can visit. Not Gas. You can't visit Gas, who visits me and sends his Malachim and comes, stops on the road, and they done this to themselves, Micaiah. Who you think called pastor and told him to do these things? You. Yep. Yes, Micaiah. So the green ears got to be bursting open. They have to be fully ripe, a tinge yellow, he said even. Some of these here are yellow, where they've come to full maturity. Then we wait upon the first moon sighting. If I see these, and we have a warm winter, Yahadim, and they come to full maturity in the 11th Roman month, or the 11th moon of the Creator, rather, of Yahshua, do we throw out the 12th moon?
No.
If these come into full bloom in the 10th moon, do we throw out the 11th moon? Texas is a warm place, and sometimes there is no winter. Okay? Nowhere is it written. There's your one little tiny piece of leavening that's been dumped in the barrel up there that you're all sitting in that. Their pod just keeps growing. This occurred as a pattern, Jimmy, as a pattern, buffoon, in all other 6 eras, and you yourselves, priests of Baal, are fulfilling it a 7th and final time. You were prophesied of. It's not hard to see the prophecies. 2 plans running side by side. The Levitical priest, first sons of Yahweh Hallel on the hill. Oh, this is the kingdom. Who are the first ones up there being recognized as priests? But the first shall be last. Okay? So,
they just don't want you to
understand. The real first moon
is
coming on the second day evening.
They just don't want you to understand you're off on your Omer count.
There is no Omer count going on, period. You're off on your Sabbaths, which are the mark of the Creator, because you did not honor Yahshua, whom he's given all authority to. Pastor didn't extend or say come a little early or stay a little late without calling the man on the phone. They called him on the phone and talked about the work. Yeah, no. The spirit is the character, and it has to have a house to live in. And that spirit and character belongs to Yahshua. He don't sit up front. He don't put himself up on the bench, on the stage, on the television. He sits in the back there, just got his feet up back there.
Just remember, the pastor said, if you commit sin, you're a full L. And that's what he said on the tape. The pastor was literally speaking against them on the tape that they played. They're using reverse psychology on you to turn things around and all. They don't want you to know that there's no Omer count right now. The Omer count is at the real feast.
That's the goofiest thing. Here. And you could even really tell it because the yellow flowers in the yard, all the flowers are just coming. The trees just came into full bloom. It's been chilly. Last week it was chilly and rainy. I don't know what more to say. It ain't first fruit yet, but everything is in full bloom. They keep a Passover and it's storming and lows down in the No.
And you can't keep a Sabbath if you're not keeping it where you're supposed to keep it. It's the
wrong
place is right here, wrong location. It's still sin.
We will follow the Lamb wherever he tells us to go. Go ahead.
Okay, so we're going on to the second.
Yes, please go in now. Now here comes the buffoon, or go ahead. And it's just, I didn't do it. I mean, even the women call and say the babbling. Are you Can you even understand a thing they're saying? Go ahead.
Well, he said we're getting closer to perfection, but when you throw out a 13th moon and
The most
you're not
basic
keeping the
teaching you
Sabbath
throw out. How are you
correctly,
getting? Oh, you're getting further. Go ahead.
and you're not keeping the Sabbath where you're supposed to, and all, then you're not getting closer to perfection. You're letting the
further
dead
away.
bury you. You're letting the dead on the hill bury you in their deceptive teachings when they come forward.
They're burying you all.
YAHSHUA works with the living, and the living
And the message.
the living are bringing forward YAHSHUA. That's what the living are doing, bringing forward YAHSHUA.
What
And
plan
all
and
those
message
that
is
are-
bringing forward 2 billion radiated people going to come serve. Ask not how 2 billion can serve you, but how you can serve Yeshua Messiah. Ask how you can serve the King of all kings. This is the marriage supper of the Lamb going on.
Just remember, it's about the living bringing YAHSHUA forward. Even when the dead are raised, the dead that
This is
are
your betrothal process.
the dead that are found in YAHSHUA, they will be bringing YAHSHUA forward too. So the whole point of it is
There are no
bringing
such
our
thing as
King
dead
forward,
in Messiah.
YAHSHUA.
Those who are dead in Messiah
Right.
will be raised. It means you've had the message, but some Levitical black hat bastard priest is trying to tell you that Yeshua is not a man sitting in that congregation. He's sitting on the throne at Yahweh's right hand. You want me to show him my impression?
Yeah,
This is my Yeshua impression now, y'all.
he's been sitting there, not moving for 2,000 years. On
Rigor mortis is setting in. Oh, wait. I get up after 2,000. Oh, yeah, Father Yahweh. Oh, my back, Father. Oh. You had me sitting right here all this time. Right. He is sitting. The house of Yahweh, Kahan Yehuda said, is the throne. The house of Yahshua is the throne. When I say house of Yah, I don't mean all. There's only 5 wives. It's far less than 50%. A very few feeble remnant pastors looking out to, but for your understanding, the house of Yeshua, they are one. He has become Yahweh to us. Genesis 1:26. They can't talk this tongue. Go ahead.
And remember the third speaker, Shimei, he was saying,
No, that's second. Stay on the second one there.
oh, we're going to stay on
More
closer,
notes.
getting closer to perfection.
Yes, stay with him. We got some more notes on him. I know you do.
No, that was the only one.
So that second speaker, just out of memory, wanted to talk about justification. Yeshua is the justification. He allows, the creator, the plan, allow wicked beast men to be in a position to try and test you so that your works will either be justified or condemned and damned if you followed wicked men. The priests of Baal are there for your justification if you follow them into the depths of the grave. Yeshua is justified because he sent his slave and servant, the house of Micaiah Eternal, to tell you what's going on in the sure and true prophecies. So Yeshua is the justification, and we will be your justification as well. If you come out, you'll be justified as having life eternal and worthy of it, because you'll be here helping us bring forward our King in this glorification process of Yeshua. And you'll be being prepared, allowing and humiliating yourself through this message to be begotten into a son or a daughter, or to be being chaste as a chaste bride, to be wed to Yeshua for all eternity as his bride, faithful bride. Okay? But, though, rather, again, still, yet, if you remain on that hill with those priests of Baal, Yeshua and this family are justified. That you were told and warned thoroughly in every slang, American English way, tool that I know possible. Bringing forth the testimonies in Revelation 12 of Yeshua. That you just simply stiff-necked and rebelled and followed some buffoon men that were teaching. I left you, Micaiah, for this reason. His brain and thought process and blood and body internally is cleaner than theirs. His heart and mind and the intent that only I can look and see, says Yahshua, Yahweh Yahshua, are to bring me forward and to coronate and crown me, says Yahshua, not myself. I'll open everything I have up, and we're going to do it even more, open it up even more. We're going to continue to you all. If you will repent and accept, I love you, Messiah, brothers and sisters. If you don't, it's not going to affect me any. It might in your eyes, what they can harm the body, harm this body, this flesh.
Remember, let the
But
dead
I would be
speak
fearing those who can-
themselves, but let the living bring forward living. That means Yahshua and Micaiah bring forward.
I mean, I've never even, some other things that were said there. I can't hardly, let me look and see if I can remember what some of the sisters had said there.
Just remember, let the dead bury the dead, and the living, Yahshua's servant, Micaiah, bring forward Yahshua. Okay? It's that simple. Do you want to go on to the next one?
No, I really would we had more. I didn't even want to really take notes because with the buffoon, it's just more babbling. It's more blah, blah, blah. I told him to. I was dictating to him, but he doesn't. Everyone is just so, everyone calls and go, you know, what are they even speaking about? They don't even understand what they're talking about, and how even the ones gathered go, how they're from there, baptized up there, going, how are they even sitting there listening to these men? Is it a cheeseburger? Was the cheese? Now that it's all over, you think about it. And I know you've already done this. Was the cheeseburgers and the pizza worth eternal life with Yeshua? If Yeshua had told me to go live in a damn corner in a closet in a rat hole somewhere, and in 3 years you'll receive eternal life in an eternal position, and all the glory and honor from every man, woman, and child that's ever lived is going to be bestowed upon you, greater than anybody I've ever bestowed it upon, I'd go live in that corner with the rats before I go up to the buffalette. Hell, let alone the reward enough just being life. I want to live. But if I was told the only way I could live was to come out away from a place that had some tasty cheeseburgers and some burnt, fire, smoky pizza, how many Yahweh marks, how many Yahshua marks are going to be built on the earth and throughout creation? How many Yeshua marks are going to be built? How many women are going to be having peaceful scenes set up for Yeshua? How many women did it take in the garden to bring forth mankind? One. What is wrong? You're just wanting the worldly short-term things on that hill or materialistic things over you. That's all he's looking to watch and see. You should do that right there and create all that same setup that's on that hill somewhere else. That's what he's doing. It's the internal joy in character. It's not what's offered on that hill. And they're not glorifying the one who made it all possible. Yeshua, are they?
Nope.
He allowed them to be in the offices they're in. And really, they forfeited their offices. They just don't, they just don't recognize it. They know it, they just don't yet recognize it. But they're going to.
Right. When they come against Yahshua, anyone that comes against Yahshua forfeits his authority.
Yeshua is the teaching of the Sabbath day. Yeshua is the teaching of the feast. Yeshua, KM, is the Passover. That's what we're all hoping for, babe. The Passover, babe. The Passover sitting in the back. Back there. Just going like this. Because he's got legions of people he's resurrected for 2,000 years. You know how many people brothers that own that hill that I've seen out and I brought about going, we're just witnessing. I said, oh, you crossed over. You're one of the ones he's resurrecting. You got it. You know how many people are up there will smile in those men's faces and say they're with them and they're not. They're with Yeshua, totally against them, just witnessing and saying every word that Yeshua is having them say to the men on the hill, and every word Yeshua is having them say to the righteous men that are on the hill and women. Women and men and women Yeshua's got on that hill right now. That have been resurrected physically from these other eras. They're in this area, that live around this area right here.
All around.
Luke 24. People were crying. They hadn't been put to the stake yet or died or went through that test of death yet. And didn't recognize that Yeshua had been changed. They didn't. Because the change is in your heart and in your mind. And when that change comes, all the authority of the microbes will come. And here's the change. Here's the heart-mind change. Nothing else can be the forefront of your mind except Yahshua Messiah. Nothing. Yahshua Messiah must consume you. He is the Passover KM. He's just sitting up there. Keep rejecting him. Nope. Yeshua held back in mercy the thunderstorms at your fake feast. He told me himself. KM, Yeshua is the justification. You're either being justified, and he uses the microbes even of the wicked. Yeshua does. Yeshua has full authority over the microbes in the brain of the wicked and the righteous. Everything just plays into his hand, that he can do any and all things according to his righteous pleasure. It's Yeshua's kingdom. Go ahead, Yadin. Now, if something else pops up, want to talk about the unleavened bread. You have no clue with your fakeness. You can't have these feasts. It's the mark of the beast man you have on you. Their mark. They're placing it in you and on you, in your foreheads. Go ahead. That third speaker.
Yeah.
Now, this is when I began to write, because a little tiny dude with little tiny hands and a little tiny body with a real soft voice don't mean they ain't wicked. Look at Pope Francis and all the other queers that led over there in the Vatican. That doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
I mean, actually, they're the greatest deceivers. So, I want to talk. Go ahead.
The third speaker.
Third speaker there.
He was mentioning about be part of this family, but of course, the family on the hill is those that are in the darkness. The sheep that need to come off there, they know the light and they need to do that. But the wicked, those in darkness up there, want to keep you sheep in that darkness. And they want you to think that that's the family.
All going on internally. And no one else is under sentencing and judgment.
Just remember that the scriptures
no one on earth
are saying there's two different places. That the hill, it's the house of Beth Arwen, the house of the wicked, and down here. So if they're saying the family's up there, then right away, who's lying? The scriptures saying they're called the house of Beth Arwen, the house on the hill? Or is
the gates of Sheol?
Or when the
11:10 of Hosea, chapter 11, verse 10. Go ahead.
And the scriptures talk about another work, and that's this work down here. So who is lying, the scriptures or them, when they say they're the family, these wicked speakers? That's just the lineup circus that the decrepit lion, the Führer.
Nothing about Yeshua, nothing about the plan to expound and magnify and to teach you what's going on internally and what's going to occur, what has occurred, what is occurring, and what's going to occur. Telling you like it was, telling you like it is, what they did, how it was. Oh, he's got a gold 1074 key that just by coincidence he sent another man in the store, didn't even know what the number meant. And Yeshua gave him a 77721 link chain. That's all. This is all just coincidence. This is all coincidence. They're ever searching for the truth and the prophecies in here. You are right here on the sea of glass getting it. Now, what other way would it finally have come to you? And if we're at the end, was Yeshua not faithful to share it with you all? They cannot stand against the man that sits in the back and sprays their hands. They walk by him and know. And when they walk by him, they try to smile and turn their head to another man. Sloan. Oh, hey, Sloan. Yahshua is the feast. He is the feast of the Creator. Yahshua is the feast of the Creator. If a man bring meat in the fold of his garment before you, and it's clean, and it touches you, clean. This was asked to Kagya. Does it make other teachings clean? No. This is the only meat. That's why you weren't supposed to eat meat. And we're not eating it here this Passover on 5/13 in the evening. Honoring Yeshua with it. We know spiritual meat is all we need. Man cannot live by bread and meat alone. But I say unto you all, that if a man carry unclean teachings in meat like swine's flesh in the fold of his garment, and it touches something else, that meat is unclean and makes everything and everyone unclean, those teachings. In the fold of his talit, right there in the sanctuary from the lectern. For by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of those black hat preachers who partake of swine's flesh teachings, they are being judged. Okay?
They're no different than the Catholic Church. They've changed all the feasts and the day of the Sabbath. They changed it all.
They threw out a bunch of moons with a Roman Greco calendar too. They throw out moons also. They throw out moons also.
So if you throw out things, you're not keeping a feast there. I don't know how much clearer I can be on that. You have to keep it at the appointed place. They've lost their authority. They have smooth talkers over there that steal what Micaiah says. That's all that is going on. Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 basically.
Are we going on to
the third speaker? Stay with him. There was no fourth, it was pastor, but we'll go on.
I'll let you go a little bit more into Shimmy.
What other notes do you have there from the speakers? Anything else from them?
Well, that was the main one that I got out.
Well,
that the family that he's talking about with his smoothness, he wants you to believe that the family, the righteous family, is the wicked priests and those that are speaking in their lineup. No, the family
says, let's bring forward Yahshua. Man, Micaiah, everything he's doing, saying in these prophecies is true. Let's work with him to bring forth the prophecies.
We just saw the
Does
family.
he say that we're wicked? If you think it's an evil thing to serve Yahshua, stay with Shimmy Shovel.
We saw the family.
Right along with the wicked in disguise. Hey,
we saw the family in Psalms.
That coke is removed.
The family in Psalms was talking about down here, not the house of Beth Arwen on the hill. All right, so...
So simple. Yeah. Wanted to talk about the flesh, creating and maintaining flesh. What those wicked preachers do on the hill, those priests of Baal, they want to maintain the flesh of the wicked. They want to maintain, the flesh is kept alive. Listen now. To maintain and create flesh, it's kept alive with the Creator spoke everything into existence. If Yahshua is the fulfillment of Genesis 1:26, to speak it, what did Pastor say? Now, what are we doing? Listen to how we're teaching and what we're telling you. The Creator preached a message. I am preaching a message of Yahshua. You must be begotten spiritually. By. And then your DNA changes, and a DNA change comes, a transfiguration, and can't nobody, unless they're here and they're one with you in that unified frequency of Yeshua, of the 144,000 frequency, quantum frequency, even tell that you've received a change. Them wicked people can't perceive it. They can't. To maintain flesh is to teach a message. They are working to try to maintain and keep hold of the flesh of the wicked and of those they have deceived to try to hold on to their kingdom for 1 hour. Okay? To maintain flesh, Righteously, to give it eternal life, is to constantly be teaching it. Look at this way Yeshua lives his life. Look at how Yahshua perfectly lived his life. Look at how Yeshua perfectly lives his life. Look at the instructions Yeshua gave to the priest after the order of Melchizedek of 144,000. Look at what Yeshua said. All authority has been given to him. Listen to Yeshua. Listen to the men of Yeshua. Listen to those who prove they bring forth Yeshua. Listen to those who bring forward Yahshua. The kingdom is his. Kingdom is his. Israel got no damn hope. Israel has no hope without Yeshua. You can't use Israel as a cloak and a covering anymore, KM, KS. You can't. To maintain flesh, listen, one final time, is to bring forward the teachings of Yahshua. He is the resurrection and the maintenance of the flesh. And without Yahshua, 1 John 6:63, your flesh is useless.
And you know how the pastor is still alive? Is because he maintained the flesh. He brought Yahshua forward. That's Yahshua is the one who maintains
Those who eat
flesh.
Yahshua's flesh, not the swine's flesh of Shimmy Shuffle. You eat Shimmy Shuffle's teachings and his flesh, his teachings, his flesh, you're going to die with him. You'll perish with him for the lack of knowledge, the scripture says. As a disclaimer, we're showing the prophecies that will concerning the house of Yahweh Hallel, Matthew 22:10, side note G4. What the end will be of those first sons of Yahweh Hallel and anyone
And
who follows
those microbials.
It's this simple.
Those microbials.
We want those priests to live. They simply will not humbly accept in Yahshua or his choices. They won't. It's this easy and simple.
Right. And those microbials that Shimmy brought forward.
Yeshua will have no rivals.
Those same microbials are going to turn against them and those wicked priests on the hill. Because microbials are part of how Yahshua maintains the frequency of flesh. And all microbials serve Yahshua. And none of them are bringing Yahshua forward. If you heard any of them say, "Come forward, our king."
We want to talk about, now play this side by side with Shimmy Shovel. We'll talk about the Yarden. Well, I've already told you the spiritual Yarden is represented by the 254. And they don't want you to come down the hill, descend out of heaven, newly authorized. The tails in the bungalows being now becoming your head, KM, KS, because of your pride, not in rejecting Yeshua. To come down through the valley of the shadow of death, past the horses' bridles, at the peaceful scene, through the valley of Jehoshaphat, and take that left, and to cross over to the south side of the Yarden, where the 12 stones are set down as a pattern, a repeating pattern that Yeshua told me put the 12 stones out there. So you want to talk about Yarden, Shimmy Shuffle, you better wake up and recognize them 12 stones I set out there on the Yarden, in the Yarden. Yahshua told them to do that in the past, the priest, and surely the priest after the order of Melchizedek have been instructed by Yeshua to put those 12 stones out there. So you were talking about trust. Do you trust in Yeshua that he's a man on the hill? He's a man. He's not a gassy God, Shimmy. Yeshua is the Ahab. He is the salvation and he is the resurrection. Yahshua's actions are the Ahab. Yeshua was always fleeing from men who refused to crown him, who refused to accept him and set him in his office as the son of David. This house are the sons and daughters of David. This is the house of Yeshua here. The dominant gene here is the tribe of Yada. We are the sons of David here. This is the house of David. Okay?
Then we went to Samuel.
We will. I got that. But he had some. Only Yeshua's instructions can stop anything. You can't stop war and fighting without Yeshua, Shimmy. You can't. You can't. You're not even bringing forward Yeshua. You're not asking his instruction. You're not going and seeking his counsel. KM said, I spoke with my counselor. You're going to be able to finish this today, boy. It ain't going to be finished till you either repent or take your dirt nap. It ain't. Because you're going to continue to side with the Jesuits. And that's an irony and an odyssey in and of itself. Because we know what the Jesuits have done to your tribe of people, KM. Okay? Only Yahshua's instructions can stop anything. Yeshua's just allowing you to, that veil of deception to remain for a little while longer. Because that over count in Psalms, and I do exhort you all to go back and listen to Yeshua's Law and Prophecy class. The Psalms 19, 1 through 6, we covered in detail. We know Shimmy heard it. And I exhort you all to go back and diligently study that one out. Because we are uttering to you at this time now, okay, that Psalms 19, 1 through 6 class. It's only Yeshua's instructions. KS rejects it, his instructions. Pastor said, I left you, Micaiah. Yeshua told me, he said, Yahweh told me, same man, to send you, Micaiah. You believe and obey. Talk about obedience, you're going to obey Yahweh. Yeshua squared up the same man that called pastor. Of course, they don't believe it. They'll say he's here, but they don't believe that. They either do or they know it. And that's worse. Better had they not known than to have known and denied him. For it would have been better for them a millstone been cast around their neck and they'd be cast into the depths of the sea. It's one of the two. They either don't believe it or know it and refuse him. That is way, and that's what they're doing. They're really just refusing him. They know he's there. So I'm humiliated and embarrassed on all your behalfs when I watch you pass by and go up down the road up there on that hill. Because those men are blatantly, clearly blaspheming of Israel, disobedient to him and Yeshua's choice. Okay? This family here. So, moving forward. But you doubt. So don't doubt, but you doubt Yeshua's there. It's called hypocrisy. I woke up this morning, Yeshua had that word, they're just hypocrites, hypocrisy on my mind. I was just going to sit back. My mind tells me to sit back and go, every time Yahadin makes a comment, hypocrites. I'm not even going to say that now. So what are your thoughts on that, Micaiah? Hypocrites. What are your thoughts on that, Yahadin? Hypocrites. Huh?
Hypocrites.
Hypocrites. Hypocrites. You can't say don't doubt, Shimmy, and then say Yeshua is not there, the man. What are you trying to make Yeshua into? How could we realize the resurrection if it weren't a man you can't tell ever went into the grave standing before you? You wouldn't know him from anybody else. You can't tell he was ever in the grave rotting. Yeshua's got that kind of authority over the microbes in the flesh, Shimmy. Through a word, a message, and the authority.
You've only cursed yourselves with the microbials for
nothing more.
Trying to pretend that the microbials serve you and not Yahshua. They serve Yahshua only.
His seat, but you're right. Yeshua is seated. He's seated right there in the back. And that is a fact. In the back, Jack. Okay? Now, we'll talk about righteous deeds. Listen, for it is written, Shimmy Shuffle, all your righteous deeds is as filthy, goddamnable rags in front of Yahshua. Seated right there in the back. Just like you said. You got to put the line upon. You got to make 2 plus 2. Now, Pastor said, Kanye, who said it? The throne of the Father that Yahshua sits in is the house of Yahweh. But y'all ain't the house of Yahweh. Yahshua indwells and the man's tongue drips and glorifies Yeshua constantly. That's a house of Yahweh that Yeshua indwells in, lives in. And he will be made in the likeness and image of the Creator just as Yeshua has, because he keeps in the forefront of his mind. There is only one man who has all authority, always has and always will. That's the plan. His name is Yeshua and he's a man. And you can't tell him from no other man. You can't. They don't treat all men like they're Yahshua. They themselves think they're better than Yahshua and everybody else and don't make one mention or expound and magnify the way that we're doing here. Way we always do of the law and the prophets and of who Yeshua really is. This is his chastening of the bride, and this is the betrothal process. Okay, so anything you would do, anything any of us would do in compared to Yeshua is as filthy rags. Unless you come here and humbly subject yourself to the choices of Israel and to thee and Yeshua and Israel, Yahweh, Yeshua and Israel, and to the priests and the men gathered here who have worked their backside off in unity with me to bring forward Yeshua. Hypocrite. Okay, we're going to move. Oh, he goat. So then, okay, wait, hold on a second. Oh, a book of remembrance. Now you said, so we see they're listening. about the book of remembrance that Yeshua told me to write your names down when you start joining yourselves with this work. Some are already that's been here in the back. We've written them down. We've showed you that. There's that little book that Amalek with the rain sash and the rainbow on his head and the rainbow on his head and the key and the chain and the gold shoes that I have on and the gold girded in a gold vest. And you've seen the eyes of fire in the wintertime. We have the lamplight burning in the fireplace going over there. It's reflecting out of my glasses. It ain't hocus pocus. You got to it's real men. Everything in Revelations and all from the beginning dot to the end jot is speaking of real men who worked with all their heart, soul, and might to bring forth the prophecies concerning Yahshua Messiah and the family and the sealing up of a group of men who would never relinquish headship to lying bastard beast men of Baal, priests of Baal, ever, no matter what the consequence would be. Only bringing a consequence that would lead to a reward of eternal life. But the consequences wicked Baal priests will bring upon you are irreversible. If you do not repent and come out away from them, that you do not partake of their swine's flesh teachings. Okay? They sanctify themselves. They don't need Yahshua. He and the Father are one. They don't need Yahshua to sanctify them. Okay? So, that book of remembrance, Semi Shuffle, is being held here. Your testimony, is going to be that you refuse to accept and bring forward Yahshua, Shimmy. That's the book of remembrance in your book of testimony. You ain't the only one writing your own story. Somebody else is writing it down that you refuse to accept Yahshua, that you rode in the school bus in the back of this short yellow bus, the stupid bus, with all the black hats up there so that you can continue to be called Great Kahan and pat you on the back. Don't let that bother you, Kahan. We got to do something about this, Kahan. We got to stop this messing, Kahan. Yeah, we're just going to let the Yahweh mark go away. Priest get the first of everything, so you're going to tell me your cut of the money. Kahan, Shem, you don't want your cut of the money? You don't want to cut your cut of the meat, Kahan? You don't want your cut of the buffalo, Kahan? Kahan, you might not have a Yahweh mark to go to. I mean, the real disciples and prophets, Yahshua, they tried to stone him in the house of Yahweh. They had to constantly flee away. That's not the pattern, though. It wasn't shown from the beginning. The real people of Yahweh fled away from men like you who set materialistic possessions above everything and threw Yeshua to the wolves. You have to be willing to lay it all down on the hill. This ain't written to nobody else. It's only written to the seventh there baptized members. And a disclaimer, that's all we're talking to. Who we're talking to is who these prophecies are about. We're magnifying and explaining and expounding. This is the final part of it. This is it. There's no other plan or teachings. None. Okay? So then the ego comes up. You know, the work of the Creator, Yahweh, always. He won't talk about the work, this work. The work is to believe into the one that Yisrael said he left to you. That's Yachanan 669. For your notes. How many times have I said the name Yahshua? How many scriptures have I brought? The work of the Creator will always and has always been and will always be Yahshua Messiah. Whatever work the Creator wants done, Yahshua gets that information that needs to be done from the Creator Yahweh first, and he gives it to whom he chooses. Oh, there are legions of our forefathers who have been resurrected just watching. They live in this area. Some are inside on the hill, men and women that have been resurrected. The greatest actors on the stage. Welcome to the show. Get your popcorn ready. So, all that work is Yeshua's. He is the work, and the work belongs to him. Okay? Full authority and all authority in heaven and earth. And then the pastor spoke. Go ahead. What did you have? Was there another point there with another speaker or pastor? Go ahead.
Well, we had Samuel Hawkins.
Yep. Yes, go ahead.
Well, Samuel Hawkins, he said, trust in Yahweh. He's using the word Yahweh again, as we've taught you to. When they say that word, they don't want to mention Yahshua.
That was
okay.
That was Samuel.
Oh, Samuel.
He spoke of the. Go ahead.
But there was no mention of Yahshua in that, and also they brought forward. Didn't he mention Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego?
He didn't want to make mention of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, but they were bringing forward Yahshua. Yahshua was in the fiery furnace with them. He's going to be in the fire. He's going to be here with us, and we're going to be protected. It's like, I just had a thought in my mind. It's and not to bring up a movie, but there was this machine that changed this guy into a fly one time. It was a movie I think called The Fly, and or even another movie, and they were all they put them in this machine and they would be changed. But what occurred was the guy had set up the computer program in the system inside the building that he had a giant machine that was inside the room, and the machine was in the room, but the machine now acted as a cage that protected whoever was inside the machine, and everybody inside the room had a DNA change or was destroyed or changed into some hateful, bitter, unfoul, unclean, hateful bird. So anyone inside the machine was protected, and all those outside of it weren't. So what am I saying? The Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego here are going to be, Yeshua's going to be here, and whatever harm wants to be caused on the people gathered here, it's going to have that reverse effect. It's going to bounce back, right back on those who are intending the harm. We want them just to repent. This is the day of Yahshua. He's a man. This was the work that was left that he had to prove you were paying attention to your pastor. We are pastor's work, and if you fail at this message he taught, I'm just magnifying pastor's message. Yeshua's messages. The prime message of all the prophets and apostles. Yes, Yadin? Mm-hmm. All right, well, go ahead, Yadin.
Well, I was going to move on to the fifth speaker, unless you want.
I heard no fifth speaker.
Okay. What was it? Well, I can't.
He was the second.
Okay, well,
but go to the same point again. To write the point. Now, you're just going on to different points now. Yeah. Go ahead. He's going to make another point here, and this was the KM, the buffoon speaking. Go ahead. Point.
Yeah, the other point I was...
Now play it side by side to get these points.
Was that there was a mention...
well,
when he mentioned feast, doesn't mean that he was... they were talking... every feast doesn't mean Satan's feast, okay? That when you keep a feast...
Not including their fake feasts.
Right. When you keep a fake feast, that's Satan's feast. So when you try to make that out to the body over there that that's a correct feast, when it's not, that's Satan's feast. And also on your that's your own ideology.
Play it side by side with the Hillel service, 4/26/2025, the Yahweh Hillel.
Right, to conform, and you want a reward from the wicked priest to be some type of reward, pat on the back, or whatever you hope to achieve with that, but you can't throw out a 13th moon and it not be. It has to be the correct pattern, or it's not right. It's Hillel's feast, not Yahshua's feast. And then also, I think he had mentioned the plan rests on Yahweh and not Yahshua. Do you want to elaborate?
Well, the plan rests upon Yahshua, not those priests on the hill. Yahweh and Yahshua are one. What he said was, Yadin, he said that the plan rested on the priests.
Right.
That reject Yahshua is a man that called pastor on the phone and told him to put the sign up you took down. No sooner than pastor went to sleep. You're telling me the plan of salvation rests on a group of men who say pastor's their overseer, but they've not yet, but he's not resurrected. He's not on his feet. They don't believe that he is resurrected after 3 days and 3 nights. They don't believe that. And they've not received visitation from him as if he would visit wicked men. Had he been resurrected after 3 days and 3 nights and visited this family? Y'all are in for one great surprise. You're in for one big surprise. If this is not difficult, I continue to teach you the same things over and 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 over. I am the same age as those men who taught. They are the dumbest people. I wouldn't let my daughter or son sit near them. Nowhere. You're telling me the plan rests on men who reject the King of Glory is there? Can he use a skill saw?
Yes.
Can Yahshua drive a black donkey?
Yes.
Will you allow Yeshua to build a house? Second Kepha, Matithia. The book of Matithia there. Kepha spoke it. And it's also in the book of Kepha. I will build my house, 16:18. Matithia 16:18. Is Yeshua allowed to build a family and a house? Yeshua has a house upon this rock.
He will build his house.
That you believe into this message I'm sent to you without seeing, which ain't hard to do. Look at the works they're doing. That tree can't bring forth righteous fruit. Yeshua's the righteous fruit, and his sons and daughters are the righteous fruit. Not sons and daughters of Yahweh Hallel. Sons and daughters of Yahshua. He learned from the Father not to have no woman that wouldn't bring forward her husbandman, like Hallel. So, the plan can only be managed and brought forth and sustained flesh and life by Yahshua. Yahshua has full authorities and full control. If he and the Father are one, and Pastor taught us, the Father's in full control. Is Yahshua not after 2,000 years a father? Don't he got a little bit of child rearing experience and teaching skills?
No, 2,000 years for it.
My mind, you either believe he has been alive. What's he been doing for 2,000 years? Do my impression again, Yadin. Man, if you and me, and he's been tried and tested, just like all men have been, are struggling. We're wanting righteous wives and righteous husbandmen and righteous sons and daughters. How long did Yeshua long for that? How many has he had along the way? Well, we don't always get what we want. Yeshua does. Ask me of the nations. I'll give you the nations. Whatever you want in righteousness, you shall receive it. All you got to do is ask for it with the right intent, not to glorify yourself. There's only one who deserves to be glorified, and he said, all those who glorify me, Yeshua said, I will glorify them. No glorification of Yahshua. Glorify Yisrael, glorify Yisrael, Yisrael. Death, you'll die. You'll die. The glorification of mankind belonged to one man, Yahshua. If that's hard and wicked, please correct me. Tell me. If the glorification, the resurrection, the life, the maintaining, the flesh, the plan, the way, the truth, the life is not Yahshua, and what I'm doing is wickedness and hateful toward those black hats that want to tell you I'm hateful to them, is hateful and wicked? How? And you want to know why I can't. You're all sitting, you're going up and down as it's prophesied in the earth. That's Hallel's children. Come away from, they are leading you into Revelations 18. I'm just a messenger. Go ahead, Yadin. That was the plan. She was in full control of the plan.
Okay, also they had mentioned the word shame.
They prophesy correctly. They just don't want you to, in an effort to hold on their kingdom for one more hour. Go ahead.
Shame is what
every
they're
word
doing.
they utter and mention from that lecture, they're going to be judged by. They're being judged by.
Right. Shame is what they're doing when you don't bring forward our King Yahshua.
And they know he's there. They know it. Manifest. Everything is made manifest, not through believing and thinking and feeling, rather knowing.
Right. The shame is when they mock the work that Yahshua has. Pastor even said, "I left you, Micaiah."
You mock this work we're doing. The work you're doing is to deny Yahshua. That's what they did. The Pharisees did. They denied him. They were, all pastor said they was always looking for a Pharisaical priest to ordain Yahshua.
And just remember, the plan starts with Yahshua. It not pastor.
Yes. The plan did not start in 1934. The plan started in Genesis. It started before that. The plan, how long was the plan in the Father, the Creator Yahweh's mind to bring forward Yahshua? Did the Father trillions of years ago not know that Adam would fail? He didn't know Adam would fail. He didn't know what his wife would do. He didn't know what the women on the hill would do and the men on the hill. That adultery and fornication pastor spoke about in his sermons today that would be going on the hill. The Creator didn't know about what each and every one of us would be doing and tell Yeshua that. Before
the world began, the plan was the image, which is Yahshua.
The plan began with Yahshua. It's called demonic God worship when they're using Israel as a cloak. Pastor, Abba, seventh Malach, eternal life, righteous, going on now as Yeshua's going on to be Yahweh high priest. And then guess what the next office for pastor is? Yahweh. And guess who's going on to be high priest after that? 7,000 years, and then another 7,000, and then another 7, and then another 7,000, and then another 7,000. Guess! You're Yeshua, brother. But in 7,000 years, when it's the next person's turn to be high priest and pastor goes on to be Yahweh, who will come after that person? How could you go on to be Yeshua and then go on to that Genesis 1 and 26? Yahweh is ordinal. What would be your next office? Then when you get there, and then what occurs? If it takes 20 million, billion, trillion years to become like Yahweh, there's the beauty in the teaching. We're always going to be teaching in this way, namely and expressly over the next 1,000 years, because there's always going to be KMs and KSs and shimmy shuffles. That's all it's going to be there until the end of the millennial reign, when death, the teachings of the swine and their swine's flesh that they want you to partake of them and not Yeshua. The unleavened bread and the meat, those who eat my flesh, Yeshua says.
They want you to condemn yourselves in their destruction.
Yeah, they want you to condemn themselves. They want to be justified by those who say they are of Yahweh but reject Yeshua. But if they accept Yahshua, then the hammer comes down and everybody has to stop sinning. We're at the end of all sin. Yeshua is the end of it all.
See, their message is like was in the gardens. Be like one of us. That's Hillel's pretending. That's what their speakers are always saying to you. Be like one of us. Promote the priests, the wicked priests behind us.
Look at the humble man walks through the parking lot and drives a black donkey. Always got his head to the ground. Always serving. And ain't aged a day since I met him, forwards or backwards. Ain't aged one day. And ain't no man in 18 years been closer to him than me. As close to his body, to his flesh, to the man. It's up there in the back right now. None. And ain't aged a day. Not one. And ain't no man on that hill, no, save not none throughout the universe that can outwork and even hold a candle at the job site to it. None. 110 degrees, be on the hottest roof, won't be a shade nowhere working, serving the most wicked black hat man that ever was. Go ahead, Dean. Talk about humility. They don't know what humility is. Let them come work for me one day, carry my tool belt around all day long.
They just want to bring a pastor forward.
Humility is the man that serves their wicked ass and calls them great Kahan, all the way up to the moment that the Father tells them, depart like a scroll away from this hill. Go ahead.
In their effort to constantly show the pastor, they've made the pastor into in their mindset, making pastor into a god. And so what they're doing by this is covering up. Make
themselves into kings.
They're covering up Yahshua and pretending he's not there by making themselves into kings.
Into gods and kings. Look, this Sabbath talk. Now we're going to get into the Sabbath. How damnable audacious. They're damning themselves. You want to talk? Now we've uncovered this a little bit today. We're going to talk about some more Sabbaths, and as a disclaimer, all we're doing is bringing the prophecies of the wickedness going on internally at the house of Yahweh in Clyde, Texas, 79510. It is the fulfillment of prophecy, either righteous, positive prophecy or negative, wicked prophecy, which is going on the hill with the finishing of the Levitical priesthood. It's going to be dissolved in a Revelations 18 fire. Powder and ash is coming. Wicked aren't those outside of a covenant who don't know. That's not the mercy of Yahweh and Yahshua. The wicked are the ones leading you on the hill that know who will continue to do wickedly to try to hold on to that kingdom on the hill for 1 hour. They will be powder and ash under your feet. You know how I know? It's written. And that's all we're doing here at the house of Yeshua, the house of Mekah Eternal. Whether you receive it or not, ain't going to change the wonderful, beautiful glorification of all those here who love Yeshua with all their heart, soul, and might. That he's first to them. That they'll offer up their house. And that they go back every time they feel like they've made a mistake and repent and beg his forgiveness and mercy for their big mouth and failing the test that he continues to test them with to see if they're going to lay everything down at his feet. There's no close second in humility to Yahshua. None. And you better recognize that and see him when he's walking around with his head to the ground. That's serving them wicked priests. And he pulls up there before any of them show up, save one who has to have all the attention, that few that have to have their glorified BSCEP positions and go out to all nations on the sea of glass to try to maintain their authority and power and do what they want to do for 1 hour. It ain't going that way. It is not going to go the way they think, the way you think. It's not.
And remember, they also brought up, they said the oak you showed us. Pastor did show you. He only brought Yeshua forward. You're not bringing Yeshua forward. So the wicked priests on the hill are finishing their wicked work.
Now, some of these are pastor's words here. We're going into pastor stuff, but go ahead.
But
some of the priests finish that thought.
Well, of course, the pastor always tried to bring forward Yeshua.
Always.
But now the wicked priests have turned it around backwards and are only using the pastor to cover up.
Because this is the time period of the glorification and the bringing forth that Yeshua is supposed to be occurring. And all creation just sitting back watching who's going to do it. Sabbath. Pastor said, talked about stumbling blocks. Now we're kind of on to pastor here. Play this side by side with pastor's sermon. The pre-recorded sermon there. That pastor brought, I believe that was 4/25/2008 today, but the one that they replayed today, 4/26/2025, play this side by side with their services today on the hill there, Yahweh Hallel House, where he and his wife are at up there. And he's like, oh, I got a contentious woman again today. You know, this group of people with that same frequency and spirit of my wife that want to reject my son. So that stumbling block, pastor said, he said the message was a stumbling block. Wow, Yeshua it's a stumbling block to all those who hate this message. The scripture is written just like that. But to those who ahab Yeshua, this message ain't a stumbling block. It's a tried, beautiful gemstone. Most beautiful gemstone Yeshua is. But pastor said his message was a stumbling block to the wicked. Because I'm telling you the deeper meaning of pastor's message and teachings. I'm magnifying and extolling the ephah, the standard of perfection. You're not even close to it. To even say you're moving closer to perfection is pride. Yahshua is the perfection, and for any man to say they are even equal near what his character is, I would be shaking in my boots being around a man like that. I would rebuke it openly. Now, the scripture says to rebuke openly, and I'm doing that in a hob to you all, but I'm the bad guy. But they want to twist and turn this around. That's what they will do. They will twist and turn it around. We are setting before you righteousness, life eternal, Yahshua Messiah. Our mouth has dripped with it. He is the unleavened bread. And to them, he's a stumbling block. But to here, he's all beautiful gemstones you could imagine. Those gemstones don't even compare to him, but if you wanted to do it, the most beautiful gemstone ever. So that stumbling block, that judgment is Revelations 11:18. Now is come the time no more, the end, where the wicked, dead in Messiah, who refused to be resurrected by this message, shall be judged and sentenced.
Let the dead bury the dead.
Revelations 11:18. Judgment and sentencing begins where? With those who are dead in Messiah, who refuse to come out of the sleep and slumber and refuse to get up out as a bride will go out to meet the bridegroom. Revelations 18 for your notes. We'll continue to, through repetition, to hammer on it here like a fine driven nail. Okay? Pastor, the teaching on the refreshing is here. That's why you're all tuning in. That's why it's growing, and it's going to continue to grow because Yeshua prophesied it would, and Yeshua cannot lie. He and the Father are one. This mustard seed here, this message is going to go and grow, and Yeshua don't need not one man on that hill, not one woman, not one child. None. Yeshua will raise them up out here along the hedgeways and the byways and the highways, and all the ones he's resurrected from these other eras, some being on the hill, as I've said, some being living in this area, some in China, some in Russia, some in Japan, who's been told this: shh, don't interfere unless I send you expressly to go talk to Micaiah, or go talk to that person, or go talk to this person, go talk to that dignitary, go talk to that man. Let them know who you are. No, don't let them know who you are. This is how we're playing it and why we're doing it this way. Yeshua is doing the work to counter the most wicked, deceptive frequency, the most wise being, third only to Yahshua, Yahweh and Yahshua, Hallel. That's what he's been doing for 2,000 years, walking the earth doing. The only two beings, male entities, beings, who are smarter and wiser and more knowledgeable than Hallel. And Hallel saw it all. Yahweh said he hid nothing from her on the hill. She walks up and down amongst the living stones in Yahweh's house. Where else does a wife walk? Okay? All right. So, here's the refreshing, but you just wouldn't have it, would you, Shimmy? Satan works to destroy the law in this gathering. All those driven away and who were outcast, who was sent by Yeshua to a meeting and then told by Yeshua to set up another meeting, and I was denied the second meeting. A couple of days later, pastor goes to sleep and I'm thrown out by them, but you can't throw a man out of Yeshua. I dwell in him. He dwells in me. He and I are one. Okay? So those things being said, that the gathering place is for those who were driven out, who knew who those men leading on the hill are. These are the sure prophecies of Revelation unfolding in real time on the sea of glasses. It was prophesied they would in your green and growing ear hearing. Are you growing? Okay. So, and then pastor said, they rejoice. Yadin said they rejoice over seeing that. Who's down there? Where's his following? The decrepit lion said, where's your following? If the decrepit lion could only see the amount of legions of Malachim and men and women that Yeshua has resurrected, his rejoicing would be far greater than mine. Because I've seen them. When you do talk to pastor and you see pastor, it's not going to go well for you unless you're here before he reveals himself to you. It's not going to go well for you, okay? All right. All this is going on internally. Now, this is the foundation that was laid, and here it is. Pastor wanted to talk about the foundation today. Play this side by side. Here's the foundation. Matthew 16:18. Matthew 16:18. That you believed, Kepha, without seeing, just using what's written as your prophetic guide to believe into me, Kepha. That's the foundation my house and my family and this family and all families of men of Yeshua will be built on. Yeshua is the foundation. He is the cornerstone. He is the foundation. He is all righteous, pure, clean things to all men and to all creation. Okay? So, when pastor, now this is important. The foundation, so that you believe in this. He built Yeshua's house. This is his house. The foundation, the pastor uses the us and the we and the I when he's at the lectern. He was only speaking to a very small, feeble remnant, as Isaiah says in the book of Isaiah. I think it's chapter 15. Mm-hmm. A small group within. Many are called, but very few are chosen. And remember, the disciples told Yeshua, said, are the righteous scarcely saved? And the answer to that question is, those who think they're right, they have some righteous deeds. Because all I could ever do for Yahshua, don't make me fit or worthy for him or his kingdom or to be sitting next to him. It's his Yahshua's mercy and compassion and authority and will and righteous pleasure to have mercy upon who he will have mercy upon, to pardon whom he will pardon, and to choose whom he will choose. It ain't nothing you can do to earn salvation. We were bought and paid for by Yahshua, and we are his slaves and servants. Until that man sitting in the back just listening to their stuff, they're accusing of the ones down here that he told me to bring this message again today, bits and pieces of what I've said to you. He literally said, the guy say it. Just test it. Yes, it's a stumbling block to the wicked, just like Pastor said. Okay, so next point there. Now, Pastor said, he was speaking in Isaiah, the waters will overflow the secret hiding place. Well, only somebody who rode the short yellow bus would think the hill is a secret after all the times. The pastor said he called him or tried to contact him on the phone and wrote him letters that the papacy did, the Pope, the papacy. You're an idiot if you don't think Michelle Obama and all the governments of the world don't know who that hill is. Yahshua is the secret hiding place. Here is your secret hiding place. But the gathering place, Psalms 91, right here in this message and in this house with this family here. This is that machine, that building, that when that fire does come, it's going to be protected. Not a hair on your head will be harmed if you're in this building. Isn't that correct, Yadin? Mm-hmm. So, those waters are people. They will overflow this place. A flood. What is it you see, Yeremia? The Malach asked Yeremia. I see a pot, a boiling. You can't skim, line upon line, the precept upon precept, here a little. Yeketskia said the wicked, prideful priest of which Yeketskia was the first book. Yeshua told me when they thought to throw me out, he kept calling me going, I've been telling you this for 6 months. You're reading that book, Yeketskia, you've been reading that book. First 3 chapters, their pride is budded on the hill. Yeketskia said their pride has budded, and they called, this is our meat and pot. They think you're the meat. They want themselves to be and you to be the swine's flesh. They're the swine's flesh, those wicked priests and preachers, the Baal on the hill. Pride, leavened bread, puffed up carnal pride bread. That it is impossible to keep a correct feast of unleavened bread. They want you to be part of the meat that's defiled and unclean. That fold in the garment. For Yeketskia said, this is our pot, this is our meat. Yeshua and Micaiah and the family of Yeshua will have nothing to do with these things here that Yahweh and Israel has set up as an inheritance for Yeshua. We'll control it all. But we don't be sitting in the back, just listening and testifying but he's our stumbling block. And there's nothing we can really do about it. The body's waking up. So, the waters in that pot, back to Yeremia. Yeremia told the Malach, he said, what do you see, Yeremia? He said, I see a pot facing the north. And it starts to boil over with what? With disdain for wicked Baal priests so they can't stand it no more. And they come with Yeshua down the hill to the secret hiding place, and the waters flow to the south. Now the pot is tipped over as it's boiled from the north to the south. What's that pot out there in your front yard? What is that? Can I have people stop on the road from the hill? They go, what does that mean? The people back here in the back that go up every Sabbath, watch them go up this morning, sitting on the front porch of the chair. We know the plan's there. We're just waiting on Yeshua to make his move. Do you know how many men and women on that hill have told me and my sister that? This thing is done. It's embarrassing for you not to still be sitting there with them. They are embarrassing themselves. They're embarrassing me to even say I was ever part of them or around them. To go out away from them is what's written you must do. They went out away from us. We could be sitting there, but they're out far out in left field somewhere, far out away from us. They went out away from the doctrine. They went out away. They went out in their heart and mind away from the message. Man, you went totally out in left field somewhere. Did that mean he got up and left away from you? Though a wise man sees danger and wicked men that ain't going to give it up, hell ain't going to give up what she stole, brothers and sisters. Y'all in Yeshua just started over as a mustard seed somewhere else. Okay? So, and that secret hiding place sounds like Psalms 91 to me. And Yeshua is the deliverer there. He is the authority in the name of the Creator. Psalms 91. Pastor, what if stammering lips and another tongue? We say that one.
Go ahead.
You want me to tell them it?
Yeah.
Pastor with stammering lips and another tongue. Another tongue other than the stammering lips had. These lips got a tongue. My lips ain't his tongue. Pastor had stammering lips. I'm another tongue besides his teaching you right now. Have we made that clear? And another Moloch came out, Revelation said. And another Moloch, and another Moloch, and another Moloch. Wasn't pastor. All the anothers aren't pastor. We're a team, a family under the headship of Yahshua. And the head have become the tail, and the tails are now becoming the head. Jimmy. Go ahead. Point you want to make there, Goddamn?
Well, just...
They profane, Pastor said, they profane the Sabbath, and they present this food to their children. They offer them up to Molech. They want to make war with us down here, just as Revelation 12 said they would. They profane the Sabbath. That was a comment there.
Right. When you don't keep the Sabbath where it's supposed to be kept, you're profaning the Sabbath.
15 more minutes.
And you also it's necessary with keeping the Sabbath that you said it over and over. You have to keep it at the appointed place, and that's down here. We're just keeping this in simple terms because we have to keep saying it over and over.
And we've done this also. Yadim can testify on my behalf. Pastor said today in Yeshua's day, every day is Yeshua's day. The heavens and the earth, all that govern them are under his authority. They're in his inheritance. All the nations, this is the day of Yahshua and Yeshua's day. So what was he saying in Yeshua's day? He was telling you that in this day right now that you're in right now hearing me, in the day of Yeshua, we're in the day of Yeshua's glorification. We're in the day of Yeshua's glorification. The Pharisees were also saying Yeshua was not come. Shimmy, go ahead.
And Yahshua doesn't glorify anyone.
They were saying, kill him.
He doesn't glorify him.
Kill him. The Pharisees was telling everybody, those disciples and that man Yahshua is against us. Do you really think that's the Messiah? Do you really think he sent Kepha and Shaul? They were doing an inquiry, an inquisition. Just like they do to all of you on that hill. Hosea 11:10, the gates of Sheol. The grave, the dead.
You heard Baralas threaten you if you don't listen to do what they say.
They knew the prophecies would occur again, Pastor said. And boy, for the final time. And now, but Yeshua's here now to protect this house and this family. Okay? If we are at the end, in what other way would this message have been taught? If we're at the end, well, what about, where's the expounding and magnifying on all the things that are cast about in darkness over the past 3.5 years? Who's been doing that for you on your behalf? Moshe 3:2. Ain't nobody out there hearing it, unless like those on the hill of which they've made an image to the fourth Roman Empire, as they're trying to make a fifth one on the hill. Unless they're doing the same thing out there, those geopolitical sources working to bring this work down. That's what they've always done. So if those men on the hill are doing that, and they are blaspheming this work here, what other work has been spoken of? in the past 3.5 years out of this house. We're the ones bringing forward Yahshua. We set before you life. The eternal life and all authority in heaven and earth has been given to Yeshua. Okay? His family. What other prophetic revelation? It's all internal. It's on the hill, Moshe 3:2. It's all there first. That judgment and that cleansing and purging will be first. That's a fact. We'll talk about the swine's flesh. We covered that. They are the swine. You partake of their teachings. Those priests on the hill there that have disqualified themselves through rejecting that Yeshua is a man there among you as he who serves. And that he called pastor on the phone. He's just sitting right there serving them all. He aged a day forward and backwards since I met him. They want you to maintain their flesh. Pastor spoke about that again on the swine's flesh. Isaiah 66:17 for your notes. The Catholics teach Yeshua hasn't come. They set their own feast also. And they say, we're holier than you are. We have a black hat. And Pastor put his hand on our forehead after calling Yeshua to ask him. Because Yeshua knew there had to be some stumbling blocks set before you all. For the righteous. But we're the righteous over here. We're the tares that are so damn intelligent. We're going to make y'all all think we're the wheat. And that anybody of the wheat who might question us and aha of the truth, and that they can feel the frequency within them. Something just ain't right. I can't put my thumb on it on this heel. That y'all ain't the wheat, y'all are the tares. This is simply what's occurring. They want you to doubt yourselves. They want you to doubt Yahshua. They don't doubt. They know he's there. They just want you to doubt also and drink of the same cup that they're going to drink from. In their pride, refusing to come here and humble themselves to, I left you, Bakaya. Peekaboo. Hard-ass test, isn't it? We won't talk about obedience and humility and try to keep a fake feast of unleavened bread, humility feast. Unleavened bread represents humility. Oh, my word. I can't. All right, then, holier than thou. Stand by yourself. If these prophecies weren't for now, we'll just throw the book out. Huh? We're done. It's done. It wasn't for the 6th era, 7th era. It was for the other 6. Yekeskia 20 and verse 13. Pastor spoke of that, how they polluted the Sabbaths and the feasts. But not just the Sabbath. In the feast of Sabbath, what about new moons? You throw out a 13th moon, and that's not polluting the new moons and the gatherings? Who was Yekeskia speaking of? Whose pride had budded in 1 through 3, chapters 1 through 3 of Yekeskia? Who did he give a big family to? Yahweh said, I gave you a big family. I watched you when you was bathed in blood in your mother's womb. I saw you burst forth from your mother's womb. You was bathed in blood. I gave you a huge family. You had 10, 11, 12 sons and daughters. A couple wives. But your pride led the whole body astray. And now anyone near you or remains on the hill with you will perish with you. Thus says Yahweh and Yahshua, they are one. Yeshua going to come off the hill. He really isn't there. He's just judging, sitting there. Okay? He's there physically. Heart and mind, that protection.
They like you to think that he's partaking in
They want to tell you he's there in a gassy form, but he ain't physically there. I'm telling you he's physically there, but he ain't there spiritually. He's just judging. Go ahead.
They like you to think that he's there partaking in their sins and their wicked instructions. He's not there partaking in their sins. He's there watching, and it'll be his determination when he chooses to cleanse.
That's exactly what Hosea said. When everyone's crying here, and when Hosea cried, all our forefathers were. Revelation says, how long? And Dean has to correct me and encourage me, Yahadeen, and my sister, and the other women who've come away from the hill that are in contact with us here. We have to be consoled and comforted, but it's going to only go the way Yeshua wants it to go and when he wants it to go that way. No other way. It can't be rushed. You can't rush it. Now, here's where we're at here. The next point, I think this is pretty much the last what Pastor said. He said, now Pastor asked a question. He said, who do you belong to by keeping it wrong? He said today, if you're keeping it wrong like the Christians, you belong to Hallel Satan. If you're keeping it wrong and not keeping it in the right moon, you belong to Satan. You're showing whose mark you have. And they want you to have that same mark that they might be justified that, well, my mama did it. My daddy done it. My brother done it. My counselors did it. My counselors, they're not your counselors. They forfeited it. I am your counselor. Yahshua is your counselor. I'm your counselor. This man's your counselor. Yazal is your counselor. There's an 11-year-old boy at your counselor that has more prophetic intelligence than those scripturally, prophetically, law and prophet retards on that hill leading you all have. I'd rather receive counsel from Tekufa, the golden Tekufa seasoned dog in the backyard than them men up there. They're dogs. Anyway, so all the prophecies are sure and true, and we see what's going on here. So he asked that, who do y'all belong to? You've kept it wrong. You can repent. That as a disclaimer for the third time, we're bringing forth the law and the prophecies that are going into eternity with the family, the 5 wise only. If you're not believing into this message, turn it off. You keep it on, and you're saying you don't believe in it, but you know it's the truth. You're wicked, and you're just one of the ones that work every Sabbath day to try to twist it and sow discord, that waste all the technology and money and resources to bring forward yourselves instead of Yahshua to the world who's starving for the Savior, Yahshua Messiah. When we set Yeshua before you all life, he is the way, the truth, and the life, and the resurrection. Over and over today, we've done that. Closing prayer. Anything before I'm going to get?
Well, I was going to point out one other thing that was said. The prideful priest had to prove. They had to be. I mean, they had literally in the scriptures. The prideful priest had to be there, and so in this way, then when Yahshua removes his hand from them, his hand of protection of him, it'll show you that they won't be justified.
No, they will not be justified. Yahshua is the justification, and those who bring him forward and have him in their minds never leave that. And they work to save the body from wicked men who are constantly seeking their own agenda and their own glorification, and are refuting these sure and true prophecies. Okay? So the closing prayer there, conundrum, the leopard. He said, and our overseer, Yisro, our overseer, an overseer can see, is Yisrael alive on his feet and his eyeballs can see or not? If you're saying no, see, you're caught in a conundrum, a catch-22 conundrum, Conundrum. You're caught in a conundrum. They're caught in their own trap. Because the dead know nothing, see nothing, hear nothing, Yahshua said. So how is he your overseer? They're hypocrites. He's just a hypocrite. This is how easy my job is. It's easy. It's not hard. My yoke is easy. What's hard is that you're sitting there with them, and that's the only power they have. Because Yeshua's allowing it. That's all that's being done there. So he's not overseeing anything. But I can tell you this. Let's reason together. Closing prayer there, conundrum, Yah. Your prayer will be honored. And when Yahweh and Yeshua showing with Yahweh and Yeshua and the priest after the order of Melchizedek here, the world is going to witness how through the testimonies in Revelation 12 as it is written of Yahshua, how we overcame the Baal priest of Yahweh Hallel in the 7th era at the last. You spoke correctly. No one understood until I just clarified the frequency of what you said. For out of your own mouth, you spoke your judgment. The world in all eyes, as it is written, is going to be on Yahweh because of the calamity through your rejection and rebellion of Yeshua, Yahweh, Yeshua, and Yeshua choices. This is the house of Yahshua. We will glorify him. We will lay everything down. He can get in the refrigerator. He can prop his feet up. He can wash his laundry in the wash machine. He can tell me, don't let that man in, and this is my land, but it ain't. It's Yeshua's. Yeshua can give and take away just like that. You are either bought and paid for by Yahshua or you have rejected that. contract. You are reprobate, stiff-necked, and rebellious, and you are simply living in that total cast about 3.5-year period with darkness that is now moments away from its finality, beginning with the Psalms 19, 1 through 6 real Omer count here at the house of Yeshua, the house of Micaiah, eternal Lamb's bride.
Remember,
Okay?
your covenant with Yahshua is broken if you won't listen to Yahshua or his servant Micaiah, who pastor left to you. So it's that simple.
So when you see that prayer request that you've asked for fulfilled in the whole world, and everyone, and them few on the hill go, wow, boy, it made everything 2 plus 2 when Micaiah spoke, added up. It's not because of me. Yeshua is contacting me. No man that's ever lived could have taught anything that's written in here unless Yeshua sent him. He's the one that goes directly, and then he is a man. They can't die again after 3 days and 3 nights. A man. Earth was created for man. It's so simple, Yahadeen. All right, Yahadeen. We are going to be using those testimonies, and they definitely will know how we overcame. That's how you overcome. You don't give the how, and they'll know, Father Yahweh, Father Yahweh, how we overcame the world and overcame. Yes, by following the Lamb wherever he goes. Yahadeen, closing statements there. I've got a few things here. Again, now real quick, I'm going to do the read about the feast and those notes and the new moon tomorrow, second evening. So make your final closing, and then I'll give some stuff, and then we'll pray. Bear with us here about 3 or 4 more minutes. A final word from the teacher.
The closing today is that it's about the shadow protection. When the hand of Yahshua is completely removed from over there, because you haven't listened and come down here, and like Yahshua's servant Micaiah said that when we refuse to bring when those that refuse to bring our King forward, you're only condemning yourselves unto a fiery expectation that awaits you, and that fire is coming.
And I'm glad you said that, because now I've got. Go ahead, keep going.
And with that point, the fire is coming. I want you to remember that you don't have to be in that fire. It's a simple choice. If you're going to allow the dead to put you in a fire that you can't get out of because you refuse to listen to Yahshua, then that's where you're going to remain. You're not going to be able to come out of the fire like the 3 Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. You're not going to be allowed to come out of that fire. You're going to remain there, and
you've rejected Jeremiah 8 and verse 9. You have rejected the wise and will be ashamed. We'll talk about that word shame. You're going to be shamed and ashamed because you've rejected the law and the prophets, Yeshua Messiah, and the law and the prophets, the Yeliah, in Revelations chapter 12 there in the side notes that my family teaches the plan and the law and the prophets that these messengers teach.
You want to be part of the family of Yahshua, the family of light. And if you're still sitting there in the darkness with pretenders.
That comes from Yazalia there. She sent me that message and told me to read that to y'all. And the other women gathered under Yazalia's authority that Yeshua has given to one of his queens. So this is coming from to the women and to the family, to the women, to the women from Yazalia. Okay? Go ahead, Yadin.
Remember, these are religious imposters, just wanting you to go down on the ship with them, down. Don't let them take you down in the fire. You have to be with Yahshua. He's the only one that gives you protection, that maintains your flesh. If you don't come down here, your flesh is not going to be maintained. You want to have families and wives and children, and you want to have the hope of a righteous reward expectation, not the weeping and gnashing of teeth expectation, where you're going to be burned and vaporized, and
speaking
even
of
the memory
that,
of you won't exist anymore.
And speaking of that fire and that burning and that vapor, Yazalia this week was meditating and studying, and she was in the frequency of the Spirit and the frequency of Yeshua, meditating on our King Yahshua. And she says, Yeshua put this into my mind to study this out, and he told me to send you. He influenced me, life-giving frequency influenced me to send this to you, Bubba, Micaiah, send this, give this to. So, now this is coming. This is the wisdom. Here it is. Now, it's Yachanan 6 in verse 1. She said Yeshua wanted you to have it. Yachanan 6:1 on page 820 in your life-giving book of Yahweh Yahshua. 6 and verse 1. Feeding the 5,000s or the multitudes. If he fed 5,000, he could feed 550 million. Okay? After these things, Yeshua went over the Sea of Galilee. That is the Sea of Tiberias. Okay? Yachanan 6:1. The sea is the people. And after all these things that are occurring, and after what's about to occur, and in this Omer count, Yeshua is going to cross over that, through that sea of people, and that Sea of Galilee on the hill, he's going to cross over. And the Sea of Tiberias, wasn't that a Roman centurion or a Roman leader or something, a Roman soldier, the sea that is of the Roman centurion or the Roman Tiberias? There's your waters, the sea. And then he said, go to Yeremiah 6 and verse 1. So let's go over to the book of Yeremiah 6 and verse 1. Yachanan 6:1, Yeremiah 6 and verse 1. Yeremiah chapter 6 and verse 1. And for your notes, that is on page 577 in your life-giving book of Yahweh Yahshua. Yeremiah 6 and verse 1. You, O children of Benjamin. Wasn't that the area allotted to the priests? Mm-hmm. Well, there was no allotments to the priest, but that is where they were of there in the area of the Benjamites mainly. Mm-hmm. Gather yourselves to flee. Wow, there's that word flee. Flee. That's Revelation chapter 12. She fled into the wilderness. The bride, goes out to meet the bridegroom fleeing into the wilderness. From the midst of Jerusalem. We used to think we was getting on we think we was getting on a plane and going over there flying over to Jerusalem. But we know that Jerusalem's here now. It's going to come down newly authorized to be the new Jerusalem. He goes, but you flee from Jerusalem now, children, because now the second half of the sorrows is coming. It's coming now. Okay? Blow the trumpet. Sound the shofar in Tekoa. Who's been sounding that shofar in this area? And set up a sign of fire in Beth Sharin, the house of destruction. Wow. So you're telling me in Jerusalem on the city in that midst to flee from it? Because there's a fire coming in the house of destruction? For evil appears out of the north. Wow. Out of the north? From this location? The tribe of Yada, East Sheep Gate that's prophesied Yeshua goes in and out that east gate? On his donkey? Well, you read it. Yachanan 6:1. The sea being the people on the hill of Galilee. From the area or the territory of the Tiberias, the Roman centurions, and those Roman Catholic attempting to, with that fifth Roman ruling empire, the waters that Pastor spoke of today in Isaiah chapter 66, I believe, who are going to flood down this area, first from the hill And then all across the earth, all the nations are going to be given to this family, this house of Yeshua. The house of Yahshua is inheriting all things now. And you can't stop it. Okay? So that's what the prophetess, Yadin, spoke about that fire. So it reminded me that Yeshua wanted us to bring that. So now I know her being in that frequency, doing her pineal cleanses, as Pastor told us to do, her making that connection simply gave us an instruction right here to flee from the midst of Jerusalem. Yeshua gave us an instruction using his maidservant to do it. Okay? And this family is a family of prophetesses and prophets and prophetesses. So that was there. Anything else you want to add now before I
don't look back? Don't look back when you flee out of there. Just come straight down here. Just remember, you can get here early
and be known as first fruits. But once he leaves out of there, if you have to follow him out or you have to flee from that destruction, and you do make it by coincidence, Mr. Bear, even the least slave of Shalomo will have a greater position than you. And every man, woman, and child in the city of Nineveh is going to be raised up and testify against you that you did not believe into the true prophecy about saying. It's written. Yeshua himself said it. So in saying these things, we want to invite you all to the real first moon. Second day evening, you know the gates are always open. The house of Yahshua is open here, as it's prophesied it would be. We are going to continue to make it more open. We've got some great and wonderful surprises and true rewards from Yeshua. Beautiful things that heart and mind connection, spiritual, enlightening, rejoicing the heart and mind as the law and the prophets and the testimonies do of Yeshua. Written there in Psalms 19, 7 through 11 for your notes. We are going to have some really wonderful things to present to you at the upcoming feast of Yahweh Yahshua. They are one. A memorial to the Father is a memorial to Yahweh, is a memorial to Yahshua. To honor the Son in any way is to honor the Father, and to honor the Father is to honor the Son. Now, I can vouch for that. I have a son myself, and Yeshua has a lot of children. So these things being said, 5:12 again. 5:12. At around 3, you need to start rolling in. Bring your chair, bring a wash basin if you have something small, or even if it's just a bottle of lye water. Mm-hmm. With if you want to sprinkle a little salt, I put a little salt in my lye water and charge it up. Yeshua taught me those things and how to make lye water. And so bring a little bit of lye water in a towel, whatever container you want to bring it in. We'll set up chairs in the backyard there in Yahshua's tabernacle, the tabernacle of Yahshua, and the water could fall right on the ground. Yep. Won't hurt it at all. You don't even really have to have a basin. If you want to bring one, bring one. Do bring a clean washcloth and some lye water. We'll have plenty of lye water here. I would bring a chair and a clean washcloth. That's the main thing you really need. It'll be a little warm. Probably bring you a bottle or two of water as we have the procession there. Yeshua's Sabbath services there for Yeshua's memorial. That will be the evening of 5:12. Yeshua's memorial, once again, is always on a second day evening, and that will never change. This is the restoration. There'll be 13 moons. Yeshua's memorial will all be held on a second day evening. And so those things being said, so now, Passover will be the following evening, that Seder Passover meal on 5/13. Again, tell them what the instructions Yeshua has given on that. Yadin, you want to elaborate a little bit on what to bring there? Because we're only about 2 weeks away, Yadin.
Well, we just bring your articles and the things that you need to.
We will be in the gold and the purple, whatever combination.
Yeah.
The royal family has to come off the hill here. It's Yeshua's family. He and the Father are one. This is the plan, the sure prophecies. We're going to be rejoicing here in gold and purple here. Your rain sashes, bring a cooler full of food, your sweet drinks, There is going to be a wine allowed. I would like to keep it at wine. I don't think any hard liquor, as they call it. No hard liquor. Yeshua is allowing wine only. Check and make sure that it's clean. You can bring your sweet drinks and whatever those things that are clean. Don't bring anything unclean to eat or drink into the camp of Yahshua. That would be an abomination, and you'd be disqualifying yourself if you purposely do that. So look at everything. That evening, we will begin that meal and that procession. We will all eat together under the guidance of the priest here, beginning at around 7:30, somewhere along, right in that area.
About that time.
About that time. And then now remember, the title of the feast is Yahshua is the reward promised to those who depart from the iniquitous. And those who depart from those men on the hill and come here, Yahshua is our reward. Yahshua is the reward promised to those who depart from the iniquitous. Again, you might look up that Strong's Hebrew 5:12 also. Yeshua will be doing that for us. He is the first day of unleavened bread, and he is the last day of it. He is the first and the last. And boy, there's going to be some really special things occurring this Passover here, the real one, the second one that Yeshua has told me he's going to do for his people that come out. Okay? And so remember these things there. And that's about all we really had to bring to you. Remember, when you bring your food, there'll be no meat at Yeshua's memorial. We're going to make enough. I'll have enough for my family, and we're going to make enough for as many as we can feed here with the resources that are limited that Yahshua is showing, as he did with Noah, only being 8, just as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be again, using 7 here. Who will be gathered, and any of you who will come out a little early. I'm hoping to have potato salad that Rebecca, which my mother, Micaiah Yaakov, my mother's name is Rebecca, my grandmother's name is Sarah. You might check out who Yaakov's grandmother and mother's names were. But my mother made the greatest southern mustard potato salad you've ever had in your life. Make your tongue smack your brains out, my grandma would say. We're going to have Rebecca's southern potato salad. We're going to have an Okie kosher garden salad, and we're going to have some dates and a fruit salad is all you said she wanted to bring and make for the family. And we're going to honor Yahweh and Yeshua. No meat is to enter into the camp. And you are to bring enough food for yourselves, your family, and one other family. Because everybody's invited. Everyone on the highways and on the byways and on the roads is invited to this gathering, this feast, this ingathering, Tekufa season.
That goes out to the Indian tribal nations, and it goes out to the nations that are outside of the U.S. here. It goes out to all the nations, anyone that wants to come here. If you have the means to get here, then be here. May Yahshua bless you on that effort. Yahshua. So that you can arrive or get here. And if there's any way we can assist you or help you, you can call over here to this to the house of Yahshua over here during the just prior to the feast. We will be answering calls to try to anyone that has made it over to the U.S. We'll try to figure a way to get you over here. But remember, a lot of it's going to be up to how much your effort is too in this. Yahshua wants to see your effort in coming also. So if they're going to turn Yahshua down up there on the wicked hill to come here, then Yahshua has extended the invitation out to the nations, and you'll be getting the blessings that those on the wicked hill that won't leave up there that they've lost. Also, Yeshua has instructed his family and his maidservants, Yizaliah and his sons and daughters, to let you all know that he wants us to bring lamps full of oil. You can bring the lantern. I got one when I went to Purcell one time a few years back for Pastor and me, just a regular, that old school or old fashioned oil lamp that you can sit down.
So you can bring those as well, but you'll need an oil lamp, and make sure you've got plenty of oil to burn through Yahweh Yeshua's memorial at Passover Seder meal. Okay? And no meat. Remember, there'll be no meat, because now in shame and in humility, we all have to realize and understand the meat, the strong meat, is the message of Yeshua. It always has been, of the law and the prophets, and we have to submit to that and believe. That's the faith. Faith is evidence of things yet to come that are unseen. So we have faith that these prophecies that are being shown here, that we've shown the line upon line, is the truth, are the truth, is the truth, and we act upon that. That's the faith. Yeshua is the faith. The faith is obedience. Okay? So you all have these instructions. This is that new day that's dawning in your mind, a new life. This is day one, Pastor said, okay? And anyone who comes and joins this work here, all their past sins will be, though they be as scarlet, will be as white as snow, and you'll be forgiven, okay? Those things being said, we're going to go ahead and close out. Is there any last word there? We're pretty thorough. That covers it all. Yeah. So, Yeshua bless you guys. We're gonna go ahead and close out. You want to close out, or you want me to? You want me to? Almighty Heavenly Father, Yahshua, supreme ruler in heaven and earth, the Creator, giving all authority to you, His first begotten Son, the manna come down out of heaven through the ages from the beginning in the plan, Yahshua, the pattern, a begotten Son and a slave in your house, Micah, Jacob, fellow servant and big brother and friend and confidant and father figure, Yahadin, Yahshua, Yisrael, to me. We ask to come before you this Sabbath day in unity with all after the order of Melchizedek, and hearing this prayer, those you've resurrected of our forefathers that we long to rejoice with, that are hearing this message and that are rejoicing in it. And we come in unity with them, asking to come before you, great Father Yahshua, knowing that you are our head, you are our Father, our teacher, our leader, our guide, and our judge. We want you, Yahshua. We know we need you. That's simplicity. We say to you, we want you to lead us and guide us and judge us forever. Your judgments are just. You are the justification. You are the mercy and the compassion, Father Yahshua. And we say Shabbat Shalom to you, and we thank you for a wonderful week that you gave us and the rains that have come. And now that we're here with this latter rain, this spiritual latter rain that points to you, Yahshua, and you're coming here to gather your family, this ingathering, those that the wicked Baal priests throughout the different eras, and finally in the seventh era on the hill have driven out and cast away, are going to be gathered here in this location for a ceremony and a gathering and a feast of Kufa season, and then for your return with us in tow with you, taking us to all these different places that the Father has shown you, His Shema, Yahweh Yahshua Shema of the past 2,000 years, and all the many wonderful places that you told me about, being that man who is among us as he who serves and has stopped along the road on the way to Arimathea to speak to me up and down the 254 of the River Yarden, encouraging me, instructing me, guiding me, patiently waiting. Please be merciful and forgive me for my impatience, Father Yahshua. Please forgive us, any of those in hearing of this message that are in sincere unity and humility with it. Please forgive them and reconcile them unto you, Yahshua. And we know that all authority in all things now, as that process has been given to you, Yahshua, and everyone must be reconciled to you in heart and mind. You are first Ahab, Yeshua. You and the Father are one. And this message and prayer and plan is pleasing to our Father, the Creator, to see you glorified as He promised He would do, accomplishing all things through mankind who Ahab you, Yeshua. And we offer ourselves to you, Yeshua, as living sacrifices to do your work and will according to your righteous pleasure, great King Yeshua, and according to the things you want done, according to your plan, Yahshua. This is the plan, and there is no other, and all things here in this family are being done according to it, you knowing it perfectly, Yahshua, and revealing it to your servants and slaves here, the house of Yeshua, the house of Micah Eternal. Please go with your people and guide and guard and protect them as they make their escape from the wicked beastmen on the hill and from that frequency there on the hill, and allow their hearts and minds to be rejoiced, and allow a new day to dawn in their hearts and minds of joy and peace, and be comforted by your life-giving frequency, Yahshua, that they can come out and that they are welcome here inside these gates to partake of you, of your meat and of your flesh and of your teachings and of your blood and offering that you laid down your life for us, Yahshua. You are the first begotten from the dead, and you are alive forevermore. You are a man among us, thee who serves. You call pastor on the phone, and you give counsel to us now that are gathered here. And we know you ride a black donkey, and you use a skill saw, and you've been patient. And we just bless you. Now that we see and perceive you and who you are, we long to be like you, and it can be realized that we can be walking on this earth in 2,000 years, just like you are, like we see you doing. And we thank you for this revelation. And this is what sets us apart. This final part with the highest offices that we believe into this message that you have sent your Malachim to meet with. And now that as one of your Malachim, I send out on the sea of glass to all nations and invite all nations to come and partake of the living water here at the house of Yahshua, the house of Makai Eternal, the Lamb's bride. And therefore, in this thing and in unity with all creation, under your headship and guidance, those who've submitted to you, we do say to you, all in unity, hallelujah, Yahshua, praise Yahshua, Hosanna to King Yahshua, praise Yahshua. Yahshua, bless your understanding. Go back, rehearse this through the course of the week, make your escape plan and your preparations for the greatest ingathering in the history of mankind. Yeshua bless you.
Praise Yahshua.
Praise Yahshua.